A very good evening to all the students. Welcome to this session of live virtual class for paper 3B indirect tax laws at intermediate level, GST goods and services tax at intermediate level. I am CA Shefali Jain and I am a faculty for indirect tax laws at Board of Studies, and today I will be taking the topic of supply under GST. We had started this topic in the last class itself, and we had covered few initial portion where we had done the supply parameters of supply. So three parameters of supply we had understood, out of which we have discussed two parameters. First was supply should be supply of goods or services or both, and second is supply should be for consideration. Third parameter we had started, that is supply should be in course of furtherance of business, but we have not completed it. I had just given you an idea. So let us start with the class, and I hope all of you have revised the class, revised the concepts which we discussed in the last class. Notes have already been uploaded in time they were uploaded. So I hope all of you would have done. Good evening, Niharika, Geeta, Pooja, Mohan Raj, then Gunjan, Deepika. Hmm. So I think all of you would have revised the concept which we had done in last two classes. Supply chapter we started in Thursday class, and we had done a brief introduction of supply chapter. And easy. So good evening, Charan, Sadia, Lingaraju, Abhimanyu Kumar, and I hope all of you would have done. All of you would have revised the concepts. So today we have to cover lot many concepts. So I would request all of you to be very attentive in today's class. It will be a very, very interesting class. I can assure you that today you will actually understand the concept of GST, whether it is a business test, schedule 1, schedule 2. I will try to cover as much as possible. And in fact, next class, which is on Saturday, we'll be starting with new topic, that is charge of GST. So this remaining topics of supply chapter and questions where you can ask your doubts also, and we'll be practicing questions that I want to conduct tomorrow. So I will be taking a poll from all of you that whether you are comfortable with the class tomorrow in afternoon time, or not very late afternoon. We maybe morning we started 10:30 or 11. So I want to have an idea from all of you, because remaining concepts, this supply chapter is going to continue till to one more session, and that we can have tomorrow, so that we are thorough with supply chapter questions. You wanted to know how we can attempt the questions. So that is why I want to have I want to take some questions to give you an idea that how you have to attempt those questions. And in moreover, we'll revise the concept also. Kavijit, good evening. Mohan Raj. Okay. Everyone chat. Okay, you are able to see everyone's chat. So does it disturbs you, Mohan? Okay, good evening, Prerna. I think we have turned off everyone's chat, because I know you all get disturbed with others' chat and you tend to see what they are asking, or I understand that disturbs. So Vedant had a doubt in supply between union territory and state. Vedant, if a supply is between a union territory and a state, it will be an interstate supply. When two states, two union territories, one state, one union territory is involved, it is an interstate supply. Sangeeta is saying we can take the topic tomorrow. Sadia, you want a link to WhatsApp group? So Manish, if you can provide the link to the WhatsApp group. Thank you. So let us see. Okay, good evening, Prerna, and good evening, Hina. Yes, so Hina, that session will be taken by another teacher. You are right, but you will find him equally good, don't worry. In fact, he would be taking the concept very in depth, and you will get the concept clarified. But before that, let us cover the concept of supply. Anubhav, actually, Saturday is um, Rakhi, and we have another session planned for it. So we have to go by schedule. We want to complete the syllabus on time. That is why we are requesting you. I know two classes are there. Two classes will be there on Saturday also. So in between, I want to take this session. If in fact if you are not comfortable, you can watch the recorded session also. But I wanted all of you to be there live, because then you will be able to practice the questions. And today, we'll try to cover many concepts because supply में अभी बहुत सारे concepts बचे हुए हैं, हम जल्दी से cover करेंगे लेकिन पूरा समझते हुए. We'll not let any concept to be half done. Everything will be done in detail and with full concept clearance. Good evening, Nosheen. Okay. Supply table between states and union territory. Okay, I will give you Vedant. Vedant, I think that will be given in charge also. Whatever I had given in the first chapter, that was just a overview. That was there in the notes of GST in India and introduction. I think first notes which I had uploaded. You can see all the notes. In one of the notes, you will find that table also. But anyhow, in charge, you will be covering that which tax to be levied in detail. So don't worry about that. That you are if you are not aware of the tax to be levied, बहुत अच्छे से अभी कवर होगा तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी. Shamli, we just that was the point I wanted to decide the time. The tentative time which I was thinking was 10:30 a.m. in the morning. I want a feedback from all of you that what is the comfortable time with you. But before that, I am starting with the class, and in the meantime, you can give me the feedback so that we don't miss on any concepts. आज बहुत सारे concepts cover करने हैं, so please be with me and keep asking your doubts also. So doubts will be taking in between. That is not an issue. Okay. So we in the last class we had given an overview of the definition of business. हमने एक बार overview ले लिया था, so that was a food for thought for all of you. कि you go back home and you go through the definition. I hope all of you would have gone through the definition. Now each aspect we'll be discussing in detail now. First is trade or commerce. Now, what is business? We had seen that there should be three parameters which should be present in order to qualify any activity or transaction as supply. First, supply should be supply of goods or services or both. Second, supply should be for consideration. And third, supply should be in course or furtherance of business. So first two parameters were discussed in detail. Now this is the last parameter which we are discussing. Then we'll go to schedule 1. So this is फर्स्ट इज ट्रेड. नाउ व्हाट इज बिजनेस? बिजनेस से आप सब लोग बहुत अच्छे से कुछ तो एक सिंपली समझते हो कि जो हम कोई ट्रेड मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हैं, प्रोफेशन अगर हमारा कोई है, दैट इज बिजनेस. दैट आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू विल एग्री कि इफ एनी ट्रेड इज गोइंग ऑन or any commerce, manufacture, somebody is manufacturing goods, somebody is manufacturing toys, shoes, stationery, that or car, he is carrying on business. Now profession, a chartered accountant, a doctor, they are carrying out their profession and they are conducting business. Vocation, anything which is of your interest and you are carrying it out. You are providing, suppose you have a vocation, you are interested in making paintings, you are selling it to outsiders, so that vocation is now your business. Adventure is any kind of unusual activity which you are doing. Once in a while you have done something. Or wager is bet. If you have conducted in placed any bets, in cricket bets are placed, in horse racing bets are placed, they are also a part of trade or commerce, or they are also a part of business, with or without any pecuniary benefit. Even if they are without pecuniary benefit, even if they are without any profit motive, or they are not being done for money, then also that will be business. Business में ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि it should be only with profit motive. It can be without profit motive also. Okay. Now second is incidental activity. First is ये सब चीजें तो business है ही हैं. I hope that is clear to you. These 6-7 parameters, they are very simple. मतलब जो हम business से usually समझते हैं वो सारे parameters हमने first box में cover कर लिए. Second is incidental activity. Now any activity which is not this main activity, which is the incidental activity, which is in relation to this activity. For example, you are owning a grocery shop. So our main business is to supply groceries, sell groceries. Now that comes within this clause trading, but you are providing the home delivery also to nearby residents. Then it becomes an incidental activity. Any activity incidental or ancillary to trade, commerce, manufacture, profession. Second example can be that you are selling cakes. Now that cake you are packing, you are providing special packing to the customers, and you are selling it in that packing. So that packing does not mean that that packing is not a business. That is also business. So I cannot say that when I'm delivering these grocery to home, when I'm packing my cakes, I'm not conducting any activity. That is also included in business. उसको कैसे टैक्स किया जाएगा वो हम बाद में देखेंगे. हम उसको कॉम्पोजिट करके उसको उसमें उसका वैल्यू मेन बिजनेस में जोड़ते हैं, कैसे करते हैं, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बट दैट इज ऑल्सो अ business. These ancillary activities are also business. So Another example could be that if you are conducting suppose and another example we can say you are you are a furniture seller. Now that furniture has to be affixed. Suppose it's a kind of that has to be delivered, that has to be placed at the customer's premises. So you are providing that service also, though customer require or not, that is what you are providing. So that is also an ancillary activity which is also included in business. Next is similar activity. Now, any activity of similar nature, but here the main point is even it is if it is without frequency, without continuity, or without any volume. Now, that means any kind of trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, adventure, wager, with or without pecuniary benefit. If you are conducting only once, or you are conducting in very small volume, then also that will be considered as business. For example, I am an actor and I have this passion or interest in making paintings. So this is not my regular business, but still my regular is I'm a professional, so I'm not, this is not my usual business, but still once I made a very beautiful painting and I sold it, and it was sold for a very high value. So no volume is there, no frequency is there, but still it would be considered as business. I have a manufacturing unit, and in this year I have sold only one car. Now, due to any reason, then so there is no frequency, there is no volume, but still it is considered as business. So in case, even if there is no frequency, there is no continuity, or the volume is very less, then also we consider it as business. Okay. Okay, Sakti, I have noted your point. And before the break, I will be taking that feedback so that in the break, you all can write that time. Don't worry, Sakti. So this similar activity also you agree that the volume or frequency is very less of similar kind of activities, then also you will consider it as business. For example, I am a practicing chartered accountant and I provide consultancy to the clients. Now, once a while, I go for a training in a college. So that is also my business. I cannot say my usual business is to advise the clients, provide advisory services, consultancy. And now, since I am providing training to students, so I cannot say that this is not a business. That will also come under the purview of the business. You cannot escape tax on that. Volume means quantity. So, for example, I told you regarding the the car example. I am a seller of car, I am a manufacturer of car, and in the last year, I have sold only one car. So, my volume has drastically reduced. Earlier, I used to sell 250 cars a year or maybe 1,000 cars a year. This year I have sold only two cars, three cars. So volume has been reduced drastically. Then also it will be a business. I cannot say कि एक ही car तो बेचिए business मत मानो. I cannot say it cannot be considered as business because the volume was very low. Quantity. Volume means quantity. Frequency means the repetition, that how many times a year or how many times I am conducting that activity. And continuity means suppose once I have conducted that activity. So I'm not doing it regularly. Continuity means I'm not doing it regularly. That is what continuity is. Okay. One more doubt is there, then we'll move forward. Anil, hmm. Anil, this doubt which you have asked, it will be cleared in this class only. Don't worry. This is something I'm going to take subsequently. So don't worry. It will not be unanswered. And at that time, you can, if it is unanswered during the class, you can again ask it, but this will be definitely answered. Now, suppose you have started your business. Then at that point of time, you will be providing or you will be acquiring, so not providing, sorry, you will be procuring lot many goods as well as services. You will be procuring capital goods, furniture, then machinery, and you will be procuring many services. You will be hiring people, then some promotional activities you will be taking. So many goods and services you will be procuring. That will be acquisition. So that is the acquisition. So that acquisition of goods or services in connection with the commencement of the business. जब आपने business start किया और आपने बहुत सारे goods और services procure किए, वो भी business है. तो मैं ये बोलूँ कि जब मेरा business start नहीं हुआ था, तब तक जो भी कुछ मैंने procure किया, वो business नहीं है, वो business है, and that also amounts to supply. Second is when I am closing my business. Now, today I have decided to close my business And after that, I have sold all my stock in trade, my capital goods, and some services also I might have provided in relation to that. Now that supply, I cannot say that this is not supply or this is not business, because I have decided to close my business. At the time of closing the business, whatever goods and services you are supplying, you are disposing of. Redundant goods are there, obsolete goods are there, your old car is there which you are using for the business, capital goods are there, machinery is there, फर्नीचर इज देयर, यू आर सेलिंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स, दैट इज ऑल्सो बिजनेस. उसको आप बिजनेस से बाहर नहीं कर सकते कि ये तो बिजनेस तो खत्म हो गया, अब जो भी कुछ हो रहा है वो पर्सनल नेचर का है, जीएसटी नहीं पे करना. नो, यू हैव टू पे. सो दैट इज द पॉइंट. Then the next point is employer-employee, Mohanraj, we'll be doing afterwards. So students, we have with us our HOD, CA Dr. Rashmi ma'am, and she wants to actually get some inputs from all of you regarding some sessions to be kept, especially for you. This will be an additional input, additional sessions for you. So please provide your inputs in the chat also. Yes, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening, students. Today, I'm here just to understand in case we provide you doubt clearing sessions or practice more question sessions for different subjects. I would like to understand the most suitable time that would be preferred by you, especially whether would you like to have the classes in the evening, or you would like to have it in the morning or in the afternoon, because I have the slots either to provide you this slot in the afternoon when there is no class scheduled in your regular schedule, or we could provide it on Sunday. So over to you, students. We want to understand that whether students need such sessions.
First of all, you tell us whether you would be requiring such sessions to solve your doubts, special doubt solving sessions, and what should be the preferable time, because afternoon that we will not be having any other classes. So will that be preferable, or you wanted to have on a weekend?
First of all, I would like to only understand that how many students want such sessions. Let us first understand it, that how many require it. Those who are with us, please raise your hands.
Yes.
So that we may understand, because we need at least the attendance of 50 students. We expect the attendance of at least 50 students with us when they are doing it. There are still only 16 number.
So if you are raising your hand, we are assuming that you want such classes. Okay. Please provide your feedback. 23, now number has gone to 23, 29. So that means all of you are interested in doubt solving sessions.
And those who are attending it through either this YouTube, I request that please send your inputs through chat.
Yes, you can send it in the chat box that you want doubt solving sessions. So 36 students have yet voted that they want such sessions.
Some have withdrawn now.
So have you, decided not to have such sessions? No, that would not be there. Abhi aapko chahiye na doubt solving sessions. 35. Yes, in chat also we are receiving. And now we'll see the time and day with your preferable time. And
now those students who want to have in the afternoon, I request now you send us that who want in the afternoon at any time.
Yes.
Only for afternoon students who want to have an afternoon, we request you to provide us your input writing on the chat box.
Yeah, you can write that you want it. Chat. You want it on the. Yes. So Sangeeta is saying afternoon. Lalit is saying evening on Sunday. Okay. First of all, who want it in the afternoon in weekdays?
Yeah.
Those students we want to give the inputs. Okay, Vedant, we got your input. Mohan Raj, afternoon, you want it in afternoon. And he's saying accounts and auditing, he need the sessions. Yes. Anil is also saying we require such sessions. Deepika, afternoon. So quite many students. Sakti is also interested in afternoon. Then, okay.
Please, students, do not write for the Sunday or the evening. Only those students who are writing for the
afternoon. We want to segregate.
Yeah, we want to segregate on the screen itself.
So Nausheen is saying afternoon. Prerna is, first of all those who want an afternoon, because actually we have to open every chat. So this way we'll get an idea that, okay, this many students, they want it in the afternoon. We'll see your message and we'll be able to know that you want it in the afternoon.
I will be leaving this session within our next few minutes. So don't worry about your GST session.
No.
There are few students who are writing about the GST. Yes, your class will
They
continue.
would be asking some doubt. They would have written earlier, ma'am.
Yeah.
So Hina, Kabyajit, Soni, Nitin, Gunjan, Niharika, Geeta, Pooja, Prakriti, Riddhiben, Krishna, Aishwarya, Kuldeep, Charan, Sudhanshu, Archana, Harsh, Jay.
Ma'am, please keep on counting them also.
Okay.
Because I believe that even YouTube people are connecting with us and they are giving their inputs on it. एक मिनट का फर्क होता है ना. Yes, students, I request you to please participate. Yeah.
Almost 22 to 25 students, I think. 22, more than 22 students have given afternoon.
Okay.
Just a minute, let me open. Then we'll ask you to
about Sunday.
About Sunday also. Okay, all these are comfortable. Okay, Rinki is comfortable anytime. Good. Afternoon in weekdays. Jaya also wanted an afternoon because I think right now most of you are not doing any training. So that is why you can do it in the afternoon also. And that would be the time when you will be actually revising the concept. So I think
actually for us, there could be a few students who would be there doing their graduation also.
That could be the case.
Yeah.
So that is why we have given you that option also on the weekend also.
Now I request my students इसके एक मिनट का और wait कर लेते हैं because now we are receiving the inputs from YouTube also, है ना? एक second कर.
So we'll just wait for 1 more minute for you to provide your inputs for the afternoon, and then we'll take the inputs for Sunday class.
Yeah.
So all those who want Sunday class, after we ask you to provide your inputs, then you should provide that the you want the Sunday class. Okay, so you want, Golti, you are saying you want that doubt clearing sessions for the practical knowledge, I suppose, or you are telling me that you don't, you are not going for the training. So that we understand, but if you want to go for the practical knowledge, then definitely you can have that.
Now let's start for evening.
Okay. Sunday evening. Now we'll
not Sunday evening, Sunday morning.
Sorry.
Let's keep it on Sunday morning so that everybody be there may enjoy their Sunday evening. So I request that now you vote for Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, and it will be for all subjects on a
any
alternate basis. Yes. So that you can clarify your doubts there.
Yeah. Now I request students to please give your input for Sunday morning.
So Prakriti is saying Sunday. So 1, in fact, 6 of you, 7 have already voted for Sunday.
Yeah. Here also we are receiving 1, 2, 3.
Okay. 8 students have now voted for Sunday. 9.
And go for only one option, not for both the options.
Few students, ma'am, they are comfortable with everything, just they want the session, doubt session. In fact, few students have written that it's a good initiative. So 11 of you have marked it for Sunday.
Here we have 6.
Okay, so there more are for Sunday. Here more were for
that's what I was
afternoon. Because whatever time you are marking, that should be your preferable time. If you are okay with every time, then you may not cast your vote also, because then we know that you want the class to be held and you are comfortable with all the time. So almost 12 students have marked it. No, Anubhav, this will not be conducted daily. It will be once a week. So that is why, or maybe if we are conducting in afternoon weekdays, then it could be decided.
So you can understand that we are having around 6 months schedule. for these classes. So we have enough of Sundays or enough of days with us to conduct such kind of sessions. That's why we are exploring what would be the most appropriate time to conduct such classes.
Saiba, we got your point that you're working in corporate. That is why for you Sunday is good. Ishwarya also wants the same time. Okay. Sat Saturday afternoon. That will become very difficult for you. In fact,
Yeah.
It's a weekend and you will be having 3 classes then in that case, Aishwarya. Yes, Gunjan, it will be for all subjects and alternatively. It will be alternatively because I always suggest you to ask your doubts during the class. So this is the concept which ma'am also promotes that you should ask the doubts in the class itself. But afterwards, when you have studied the topic and then you come across some doubts, or you have studied a topic afterwards, then you want to ask some questions.
Some
For
extra
that,
questions
some
that
extra
you
questions.
have practiced and you want them to be solved by the faculty. Some selective questions.
Selective questions. This is for that purpose.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, all your doubts are being cleared during the class itself.
We appreciate all the students to be going regularly, attending the class and regularly following up with the progress. Then only you could succeed this CA examination. Overnight, you cannot.
Yes, Riddhi. It will be once a week. Unit test, Krishna, we have to see whether we will be
Don't go to
conducting.
that aspect. Okay, ma'am. So we have
We have got an
taken.
idea. So
Now we will decide and we will let the students know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
No, there will not be one session, Vedant. There will be separate sessions for each subject. But yes, all your doubts will be cleared in that session. Okay. So now let's move to the topic again. And now, so this class which I'm going to conduct tomorrow, that is a separate type of class. That is not a doubt solving class. That will be a routine supply chapter, where we'll be covering supply concepts, which we will not able to cover today. Those concepts we'll be covering tomorrow in tomorrow's class. So I hope you will be with me in that session. Okay. Somrita is saying we get the doubts after studying. So yes, Somrita, and in fact, doubt class is one of the ways. But anyhow, if you have any doubt afterwards, also ask in the class when you join it. In the next class, also you can ask that doubt. So that is not an issue. Don't leave your doubt any unsolved. That is very important. So all of you who have raised your hand for the polling purpose, now they can, yeah, you can put your hands down. Okay, Krishna, anytime. So good. GST class Riddhiben will be there. I just want to know the time. Okay. Okay. Topics, units like topics. Good. Anil, I didn't get your point. If you can ask it again. Okay. Thank you, Saipa. These all initiatives are for you people only. Okay. Anubhav is comfortable, I think, for both. Where to ask about study material is not available. Mohanraj, very soon it will be available. In fact, today, I think Mohanraj, I had come for some purpose. I saw a CDS portal. If you have you seen it today, or in the break, you can confirm me whether it's available or not. I think it would be available now. Okay, you would be in office, Lalit. Okay, just few topics actually I would not be able to cover, and that is why I wanted to take it tomorrow. I don't want you to leave halfway कि अभी वो नहीं हो पा रहा है. Okay. Hina, if you have any such issue, you should write a mail regarding that. You can write at BOS Noida or you can write at CMA-Inter also. Okay, okay. Now we got your feedback for the class that you want, the doubt solving session, and the preferable time we'll be seeing. Now we come to our topic here. So when you are starting your business or when you are closing your business, any supplies of goods or services, any supplies which you are making or you are receiving, that will be business. Then come the club activities. Now, if you have formed a club, suppose it's a gym or it's a resident welfare association, or it can be another example for the club can be some swimming pool club is there, that for recreational activities we have created some club. So these or some um, you can say an association of persons is there which has been created for certain specific purposes. Now if it is providing some facilities to its some club or association is providing some services, or you can say facilities, to its members. Now this can be services also, and these can be goods also. So that is also included in business. We'll see some example of this also, and this has also been included in the definition of supply specifically, because earlier there used to be a doubt कि a club and its members are one person, they are not separate persons. हम कुछ लोगों ने मिलके ग्रुप बना लिया, हमने उसको एक क्लब का नाम दे दिया, RWA नाम दे दिया हमने अपनी सोसाइटी में। अब वो RWA हमसे ही मिलके बनी है, तो ये डाउट आता था कि RWA और उसके मेंबर्स सेम है सब, बट ऐसा नहीं है। जीएसटी लॉ में ये क्लैरिफाई किया गया, बिकॉज दिस दैट इज व्हाई एन अमेंडमेंट हैड टेकन प्लेस, सप्लाई डेफिनेशन हैज बीन अमेंडेड फॉर दैट, कि अ क्लब एंड इट्स मेंबर्स, आरडब्ल्यू एंड इट्स मेंबर्स, एसओचएम और एनी काइंड ऑफ द chambers of commerce and their members, they are two separate persons and they can provide services among themselves, or they can provide goods among themselves. आरडब्ल्यू अपने मेंबर्स को सर्विसेज दे सकती है, गुड्स दे सकती है, और सेम वे वो भी अपने उसके मेंबर्स भी अपनी आरडब्ल्यू को सर्विसेज दे सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल द डिपॉजिटिंग इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल्स, नाउ समबडी हैज टू डू इट ना, आरडब्ल्यू इज गिविंग सर्विसेज टू ऑल द मेंबर्स. Now some member has taken this responsibility that I will be doing half of the bills for all the 2-3 persons have taken, we'll be doing all the bills, we'll be depositing all the bills. So that is actually, they are providing service to the RWA. So both ways it will go, and that will be considered as supply, business, sorry. Now, give me 1 minute. I want to first of all open all the chats because I'm not able to see the technical doubts. Okay, you have mailed Hina. You send a mail to BOS Noida. Okay. Okay, Kuldeep. Material is yet to receive. Have you checked, Kuldeep, on today? Have you checked the CDS knowledge portal, CDS portal? Because I think it is there. Today it has been. Okay, you have already purchased. You need a new one. So new May 26 material. May 26 you need, na? May 26 material, I think it has been uploaded on CDS portal. हर्ष, आप जितने प्यार से पढ़ाते हो, एनी टाइम कंफर्टेबल. थैंक यू हर्ष. And there will be other faculties also, so don't worry. You will be, your all doubts will be taken care of in equally, uh, you know, caring manner. So time for tomorrow I will be taking, preferable time is 10:30. I want to know how many of you are not comfortable with 10:30 time, because this class will be for around 2.5 hours or 3 hours. I want to cover everything which is left. Riddhi Bain, actually, Sunday, I want to cover this topic before start of the charge of GST. Otherwise, there will be a break. Okay, May 26 is not yet uploaded, Mustafa. Okay, don't worry. Mustafa has given a solution. Okay, you will cover, you are telling for this class, but for others also who are not able to join tomorrow, then they can go for the YouTube recorded session or for the BOS Knowledge Portal recorded session also. Okay, 10:30 is okay with Sangeeta. Just let me complete, because today I want to cover a lot of portion. 26 is available. May 26 is not available. Okay, okay. Then give me time till tomorrow. I will confirm it. Tomorrow at 10:30, I want to keep the class. Okay, Vedant, I got your point. I will try to address it, but I think you will not find that kind of issue. 10:30, Anubhav. 10:30 is the time for tomorrow. Deepika, okay. Let us see, Deepika. If it is possible, I will try to keep it at 11 also. Anytime, Mohan Raj is okay with any time. Just last doubt, and then we'll go to the topic, because today I want to cover the topic. I got your point, Mustafa. I got confused for tomorrow's session. You are talking about today that you have joined late, and now you will be covering it through YouTube. That's fine. But till now, we have not covered much of the topic. Noshin is ready with every time. Mustafa, we were talking about the doubt session, a special doubt session BOS is planning to keep for the students. And we were discussing the time, whether Sunday or it should be in any weekday in the afternoon time. Riddhi Ben, I will try to take your point also in consideration. So this is business का हमने ये aspect club facilities तक cover कर लिया. Now next is admission. Admission for any consideration to any premises. Now you are being charged when you go to a circus, you are charged an entry fee. You go to a music concert, you are charged an entry fee. When you go to any water park or any adventure park, you are charged an entry fee. So there when you are paying a consideration, and because after paying that consideration you get admission to that particular place, that particular premises, that is considered as business. Okay, this is simple. So I think this will be easy for you to understand. Let's move to next. Holder of office. Now, services supplied by a person as the holder of an office which has been accepted by him in the course or furtherance of his trade, profession, or vocation. Let me give you an example for this. For example, you are a chartered accountant and you have been appointed as an auditor of a firm, or you are a chartered accountant, you have been appointed as the director of a company, or the you are a doctor and you have been appointed as a medical consultant or medical superintendent maybe of a hospital. You are a lawyer and you have been appointed as a legal advisor of a company, of a firm. Then this is this position which you are holding because in course of furtherance of your discharging your professional duties, or because of your trade or vocation. So whatever post, whatever designation you, or whatever office you have accepted in course of furtherance of business, that is also considered as business. So if I am a legal advisor of a firm, then that means I am doing a business. वो business में include होगा. Now next is race club. So activities, I will be taking examples of all these. So don't worry, you will be getting these points clear. Race club. Now, race club is a club for where horse races are conducted. Horse races, you all must have an idea that people place bets on the horse races, and either if they win or they lose. And there are few persons who, facilitate the conducting of bets, and these persons are called bookmakers. So these bookmakers are licensed bookmakers. These are licensed by the race clubs. The race clubs themselves license these bookmakers. Okay, and they take bets from the ordinary public and place it on the race club. And the instrument or the device which shows you the results of the bets being placed on the horses is called totalizator. So activities which are performed by a race club, including the totalizator, whatever services they are providing through totalizator, they are giving license to these bookmakers, and the activities of these licensed bookmakers also are included in business. We'll take examples for all this and then it will get clear to you. Government activity, very simple. Any last class also I told you that any services, any goods provided by government are treated are considered as supply. For the purpose of considering it as supply or not, they are at par. Now, whether they will be taxed or not, exemptions will be provided to them. That is a separate thing that we will do afterwards. But abhi government ko bhi at par hi rakha jata hai. Okay. Now examples will start so that each of these points can get clear. Okay. And let me see your doubts. Okay. Nausheen saying anytime. So that would be fine. Kal Anubhav, I think 10:30 or 11. That I will let you know. Huh? We'll share it in the WhatsApp group. We'll share the time in the WhatsApp group, exact time. But or maybe if we decided at the by the end of the class, we will announce it at the end of the class also, and we'll share it in the WhatsApp group also. Tollgate is a business. Yes, it is a business. Where we get proper notes. Now, Nausheen, proper notes, if you are talking about these PPTs, they are uploaded on your BOS knowledge portal. If you want to refer any other notes, please let me know what you are actually referring to, Saipa. Okay, you have resigned from studying sick and you will be okay. So I understood your point. So after 2 months, it will be easy for you, Saipa. Okay, I got your point. So yes, no. Tomorrow there will be one GST session, Anil, and that will be in the morning, maybe 10:30 or 11. That is what I'm going to tell you the time. Okay, Mustafa, that's fine, Mustafa. You can attend the recorded session. That's not an issue. Okay, Sadia is also telling the time. And after that, I will go to the topic. Okay, Aditya, I got your point. Hmm. Study material is updated for May 26, Archana. It is web hosted. Both the modules have, I think, have been web hosted. But the hard copy, I have to confirm whether it is available on CDS portal for purchase or not. That I will confirm you. Now, first example. Rishabh buys a car for his personal use, and after a year, he sells it to a car dealer. So I want answer from all of you whether it is business or not. But we'll try to cover it quickly today because we have to cover lot many topics. I will take only first 4, 5, 6 answers and then I will tell you the answer. So if we see GST's car is more than, yes, Mohanraj, for rates of taxes, in particularly in case of cars, their engine capacity is sometimes kept in mind for the rates. But rates are not in the purview of your syllabus. Okay. Archana, I have to see why you are saying this. Aditya, you are right, but reasoning is not correct. Mustafa is also saying no. Saipa is right. Saipa, you are right. Vedant is also right. Okay. Then Golti, yes, you are right. And reason is also right. Sangeeta Vani is also right. Hina, you are also right. Riddhi Ben is also right. Let me tell you the answer now. Nausheen, you are also right. So he has purchased the car for his personal use. So he is not conducting any business. Koi trade, profession, manufacturing, vocation, wagering, anything is not being done. And he is selling a car. So it is not in course of business which he is doing. And that is why it is not a business. उसने कार पर्सनल यूज के लिए खरीदी और अब उसने एक साल बाद बेच दी. If we try to consider it as business, then every activity which you are taking at your home, that will become a business. आपने अपने घर में जो भी appliances खरीदे हैं और आप उनको जब बेचोगे या नहीं भी बेचोगे, you are disposing them off without selling, then that will become supply. So this is not supply. This is not a trade, manufacturing. जितनी हमने शुरू में जो events किए थे, it is not included anywhere here. इनमें से कहीं भी ये इंक्लूड नहीं होता. इट इज नॉट इन कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस. सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल. Manikarnika sold her old gold bangles and earrings to Abhushan Jewelers. So is it, now this answer I am assuming, now you are going to answer for the latest one, I hope. Okay. So Sangeeta, and also in not, yes, this reason you have given for the earlier one, I suppose. Yes, Krishna, right. Jaya, you have to see your answer. See, she is selling her old gold bangles. Prerna is right. Deepika, right. Then Riddhiben is also right. Mohan Raj is a sale of investment. Investment, if you're talking about securities, then it is not a supply. Which form of investment you're talking about, Mohan? That is then important. So you can write it in the chat box. Kabirjit, you're right. And Nitin, right. So, in fact, I'm getting answers from all of you, but let me tell you that this is the sale of old bangles, which old bangles and earrings, which Manikarnika is doing on her personal account. So that means these were his personal belongings, and she's selling it. There is a circular also to this effect, which clarifies that if you are selling your old gold jewelry, that is not a business. Otherwise, imagine if all your gold jewelry, which your mothers or your sisters are possessing, if anytime you have to sell it for getting some new jewelry, then that will become supply. So that is not a supply. You do not we do not levy GST on old jewelry which we are selling to the jeweler. That is an important point to consider because it is not in course or furtherance of business. This is not a business. अगर आप अपनी पुरानी jewelry बेच रहे हो तो वो business नहीं है. Okay, let us see the third example. Sundaram Acharya, a famous actor, paints some paintings and sells them. Consideration from such sale is to be donated to a charitable trust, Kind Human. Now, this is the third example. So, he is an actor, but he is painting some paintings and he is selling them. Now, consideration he will be donating. So, let all of you tell me the answer. Okay, Krishna, you were right for the earlier question. And for this one, yes, absolutely right, Krishna. You have given the correct reason also. Yes, Mustafa, right. And Anil, you are right. Saipa, I think this is for the previous one you have answered. Okay, and yes, for charity, he will be giving the consideration in charity. Now you have to tell whether this particular transaction is in course of furtherance of business or not. We'll first of all stick to business. So, okay, Nausheen, I think this is for the current one, and you are right. In this, Saipa, you are also right. Archana, there is that was the catch which I wanted to tell you. So, Nitin, it cannot be an incidental activity. It is incidental activity should be related to the main business. So, if he is an actor and he is doing some dance performance somewhere, so that will be his incidental activity. But since he is an actor and he is doing a completely different kind of a business or different kind of an activity, that is painting, selling his paintings, so then it, whether it is business or not. But yes, it is a, for if we are selling the paintings, that is a trade, profession, or manufacture that can come in that category, which is the first point that will come in that category, but it is not related to his particular business. And okay, let me tell you the answers, because so that yes, Anil is saying it is not a business because it is not his profession. Yes, that was the point actually I wanted to tell all of you in this particular case. Now, Sundaram Acharya is a businessman, not businessman, I would say. Whatever activity he is conducting is a business. He is an actor. So these services provided by an actor will be within the purview of business. Now he is painting some paintings and he is selling them. So that is not an incidental activity. That is true. That it is not an incidental activity, but it is an activity of not of the same nature, but it is an activity which is different in nature, like adventure. If you can, adventure does not mean that you have to take a high jump or sky diving. That is not the only adventure in business. That means you're doing something different from your routine business, and that activity is actually in course or furtherance of business. So this painting which he is selling, he's an actor, he's in ordinary course of, in normally he is providing a business, he's engaged in a business, and now he's selling some paintings, so that also becomes a business. Let me show you. So now what he is doing with the consideration, वो consideration वो donate कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है, is irrelevant. If you are getting any consideration for your business, you are conducting a business and entire consideration you are donating to a trust, that does not mean that your activity is not a supply, your activity is not in course or furtherance of business. आप consideration का क्या करते हो वो irrelevant है. The first point तो ये है कि this point is not at all relevant to determine whether it is business or not. Second thing is that he is selling the paintings. He is engaged in the business and now he's selling the paintings, which is also a form of supply or which is also a form of business. So this entire activity is included in terms of in the definition of business, or we can say that yes, he is engaged in business because he is selling these paintings for some consideration. Now, whatever he does with that consideration is not important. Let us come to the next example. An RWA performs the service of depositing the electricity bills of the residents in lieu of some nominal charges. I think this point all of you know because this was very explicit in our definition of business. Okay, let me see your answers. For Manikanika, it is not a business, but Abhushan, it is a supply. Vedant, it will be a supply for Abhushan when Abhushan further sells it. Yes, then in that case, that will be a supply. That is true. But even if you are using the consideration for charitable purposes, that does not make that particular transaction as a non-supply, or that does not make it a non excluding that does not exclude it from the definition of business. Okay. So what we are doing with consideration is not at all relevant. Yes. It's an yes, Krishna. Okay. Now, Aditya, I think you are telling for the current Resident Welfare Association. This is a business or not? Prerna, you are right. Krishna is also right. Yes, Mustafa, you are right. Because they are charging a nominal amount. This is also a point. Yes, Anil. Previous one was considered as business because he is conducting a business. An actor is providing services, and along with that, now he's selling some paintings also. So that is in course or furtherance of business. Archana, I think this one you are telling for the current one. Then you are right. Yes, Riddhi, you are right. Nausheen, correct. Mohan Raj, why do you feel that it is? I think this reason, this is for RWA. Let me please tell me the reason also. Deepika, you are right. Yes, absolutely right, Sangeeta. The reason you have given. And okay, Niharika, correct. Pooja, no, Pooja. I think, or maybe this is for the earlier points you had told. Then you were right because I had missed some of the points. Okay. So now this RWA, when an RWA is providing the service of depositing electricity bills of its residents, and he is charging a nominal bill. Since he is charging a nominal bill, so consideration gets present, as well as it is in course or furtherance of business as per the definition of business. Because in definition of business, we had seen that any service which a club is providing, or any facilities, any goods or services which club is providing to its members is in considered in course or furtherance of business. So same way, this will be considered resident RWA providing services to its members is a business. It is included in the definition of business. I think this point nobody will have any doubt. What I suppose still anybody has doubt, then you can tell yes, Anil, you're right. And consideration need to be educated. Yes, then we have to see that for supply, Mohan Raj. But for considering whether RWA providing services to its residents or members, whether this is a business or not, then it is a business. Consideration वो ले रहा है नहीं रहा है वो एक separate point है. हालांकि इसको example में in this example it has been explicitly mentioned that he is charging some nominal, he is charging something nominal. But nominal does not mean that he is charging less. Nominal मतलब एक reasonable amount. या चलो if even if I say थोड़ा it is less than what should have been done. बट कंसिडरेशन कम है या ज्यादा वो जीएसटी लॉ से इम्पैक्ट नहीं होता. जीएसटी लॉ प्रोवाइड्स दैट consideration should be charged. When we did the parameter for consideration, we nowhere discussed that consideration should be reasonable, should be sufficient, should be adequate. No, there should be some consideration. We discussed that. क्योंकि वो वैल्यूएशन का पॉइंट होगा कि उसे हम वैल्यू कैसे करेंगे. बट सप्लाई मानने के लिए कंसिडरेशन कुछ भी हो, आप सप्लाई उसको मानोगे. कंसिडरेशन बिजनेस दोनों टेस्ट उसके प्रेजेंट होने चाहिए. ओके. कंसिडरेशन ना होती कब्यजीत अगर, तो हम सप्लाई नहीं मानते, बट बिजनेस तो हम तब भी मानते ना कि ये बिजनेस है. अभी मैं आपसे सिर्फ बिजनेस पूछ रही हूँ, बीच बीच में हम थोड़ा सप्लाई भी डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, बट मेनली वी आर ऑन दी business, whether it is a business or not. Quid pro quo, if there is no quid pro quo, na, Ria, you are saying because quid pro quo, I think this was for the earlier when you were saying yes, there was no quid pro quo in the earlier, but quid pro quo is for consideration, it is not for the business. Yes, so I am now seeing the earlier answers because I missed your answers previously. Okay. Okay, Kabirji. So let's move to the next example. Now we come to the example of a admission to a circus, to a movie theater, to a water park or some amusement park, to an event, some music concert is there, some exhibition is there, and you have to pay some entry fee for admitting, for getting admission, for entering that particular event, that particular premises, then it is uh, a business. So this we had already discussed that this example we had already discussed. I'm getting replies from all of you, but this is very simple, so I am taking it straight away. This is just an example to show that yes, this is a business. Yes, Sudhanshu, you're right. And Mustafa, you are also right. Golti, yes, already covered because this I have already covered explicitly. So this I am taking quickly so that we can move to the next point. So I think by now all of you would have got the WhatsApp group link. So tickets for a circus, for an amusement park, including any kind of theme parks which are there, water parks, or a cinema are considered as business. This is just an example to tell you, give you an idea that how this clause is covered. Next is the horse racing. So horse racing in a horse race club, it is being conducted and the results of the horse race or betting is provided to you by way of a device which is called totalizer, which exhibits the results of the bets being placed on the horses, which horse has won and how much the persons have lost or won. That is called totalizer. So for this we have an example that Royal Turf Race Club is engaged in facilitating the wagering transaction. Wagering matlab betting transactions. So they are engaged in providing the wagering transactions on horses placed through totalizer. Obviously totalizer के through ही होता है because it's an electronic device जो ये इसको facilitate करता है. You can do it easily. This is not done manually. So, for providing the service of facilitating wagering transactions, Royal Turf Club. Now, how these transactions are taken place? What these race clubs they do? They charge some commission from every person, and in case you have won something, then from the total, so this commission which they will be charging, that is deducted from your total bet value. So if you have placed a bet of 100 rupees and the commission is 10 rupees, so they take out their commission, and whatever, if you have won something, that amount will be given to you, but they charge some commission for placing the bets or placing for wagering transactions undertaken by the people who place the bets. That can be done by a licensed bookmaker also. हम bookmakers को generally we call bookie in the general term. तो थोड़ा सा relatable लगता है bookie सुनने में. तो बुकी को जो लाइसेंस देते हैं वो भी रेस क्लब की एक्टिव बिजनेस एक्टिविटी है. जो वो द कमीशन विच दे आर चार्जिंग फॉर फ्रॉम द पीपल फॉर प्लेसिंग दीज बेट्स, दैट इज ऑल्सो बिजनेस. And the totalizator, through totalizator, they are facilitating the wagering transactions, betting transactions. That is also a business. So these activities, in fact, some people they keep on asking one repetitive question that, ma'am, this is not a legal transaction, so whether it should be taxed, though race clubs are not illegal, but they seem to be any kind of lottery, gambling, or horse racing, casinos. We generally have a feeling that they are not legal, and that is why I feel that whether they should be taxed or not. So any kind of transaction, whether they are allowed or not, tax is levied, but these are allowed in in many states, and that is why tax is levied on them. Yes, it is a service provided by Race Club. Krishna, betting, yes, on cricket it is illegal, but we are talking about the race clubs here. Business between transactions, business because transactions and commission. Yes, because commission is being charged. Let me see all your points here and then we'll move to the next one. So this is how we have covered the business definition. Yes, this is business activity, Arun Sagar. And one student, Achal, has asked me that this is his first class and he want to join the WhatsApp group. So Achal, WhatsApp group link has been given in the main chat, common chat. It has been given. You can join it through that group. You will be updated, and some notifications will also be shared with you regarding the classes. So any change in any time, and that will be informed to you. Hina is saying a painting example you want to know. Okay, let me explain it to you again, Hina. Let me see. A totalizator. Totalizator, देखो, Archana, it is this, display device which tells you about how the results of the bets which have been placed on a racehorse. So technically, I'm not aware how it is placed on that because I have never been into any such kind of a transaction. But totalizator, this much I know that it provides the results of the bets which are being placed on the horses after a race is conducted, after a race is convened. The results are displayed on the totalizator. That is why I have taken this picture, so to tell you an idea, to give you an idea that the totalizator provides the results of the betting. Okay. So one student has asked regarding that painting example. I will take it again, but let me see any other doubt is there. Not in course or furtherance of business as considered. Yes, Shraddha. So now you would have got that. So that example I'm going to take again. So that charitable point which anybody has doubt, that will also be clarified again. Yes, Deepika, in ticket example, you can take it as supply also because consideration is there. Simply scorecard, Anil. Anil, you are right. It is a simple scorecard, you can say. Totalizator. Totalizator is a scorecard of your racing, race betting. Exactly like our exam results are on notice board, Aishwarya is saying. Yes, you can compare it with that also. So let us go through that Sundaram Acharya example. Most of the students have a doubt in it that Sundaram Acharya is an actor. The services provided by an actor are within the purview of business because एक profession है, एक vocation है which they are doing, and therefore they are within the purview of business. Now that particular actor has painted some beautiful paintings and he is selling it. Now this sale of painting, had it not been a painter, not a actor or whatever, it would have been considered as a supply only. Paintings जो आप sell करते हो, paintings जो sell होती है वो सब business है, that is a business activity. So this activity of selling the paintings by an actor is also a business activity. Now here one more point is given to you to confuse you. That is, The consideration for sale of this he will be donating to a trust. Now I am selling, don't take it as painting. I am having a stationery shop. Now on a daily basis, I earn 1,000 rupees per day. And what I do is out of this 500, I donate on a daily basis. Okay. So does that mean that my supply will only amounting to rupees 500? No. मैं अपनी कंसिडरेशन से क्या करती हूँ आगे, हाउ आई डिस्पोज माई कंसिडरेशन, हाउ आई यूटिलाइज माई कंसिडरेशन, दैट डज नॉट मैटर टू दी जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट. GST department is only concerned with this transaction which I am undertaking. Now, what I do with the consideration, that is not relevant. Whether consideration is there, that is relevant. Consideration adequate है या नहीं है, वो भी relevant नहीं है for taking it to be a supply. Now, valuation will be another point. कि अगर consideration हमें sufficient नहीं लग रही है, तब भी ऐसा नहीं है कि we'll straight away go to the rules. I can charge less also for my product. That is not an issue. But yes, अगर कोई दूसरे मेथड से मेरी कंसिडरेशन आ रही है, मीन्स आई हैव ब्रोकन माई कंसिडरेशन टू escape tax, then the valuation rules will come into play. But that is not the case here. So this is a simple case कि आप अपनी consideration charitable purpose के लिए use कर रहे हो, but still it will be considered as a business. So with this, we come to an end of all the three parameters for the supply. If an activity or transaction satisfies all the above parameters. Now these three parameters we'll once again revise. Supply should be supply of goods or supply of services or both. Second, supply should be for consideration. Third, supply should be in course or furtherance of business. Many students, when we were discussing the business test, then they were also driven by the consideration test also. जहाँ consideration नहीं दिख रही थी, हमने assume किया कि consideration नहीं लिखी तो इसका मतलब शायद ये business नहीं है. They are independent of each other, but when we club them together, then we come to supply. तो अगर आपके पास consideration है, business है और goods और services आप supply कर रहे हो, activity business goods और services में है, then this is a supply. Okay, Shraddha, you got business Sundaramacharya point? Good. So with this, we come to an end of the parameters of supply. Now we will see definition of supply under section 7. First part of the definition we have just completed. That was supply means, supply definition is an inclusive definition. So supply includes all forms of supply. That 8 illustrative forms we had already done. All forms of supply made by a person, supply of goods or supply of services or both, for a consideration, in course or furtherance of business. That was the first part. तो normally supply क्या है, ये 3 conditions आपकी पूरी होनी चाहिए. It should be made by a person. Supply made और agreed to be made भी है, यानी अगर आपने अभी सिर्फ agreement किया है और अभी supply नहीं करी है आपने actual में, then also it will be included in the definition of supply. So this is the first part of the definition. जैसे हम बोले कि कोई एक normal definition जो है supply की, वो हमने cover कर ली है. अब उसमें कुछ exceptions जो हमारे general principles हैं, जो 3 parameters हमने किए हैं, इसमें कुछ exceptions भी होंगे जो अभी हम discuss करेंगे. बिजनेस टेस्ट हमने अभी अभी पढ़ा कि बिजनेस तो होना बहुत बहुत जरूरी है, तभी सप्लाई होगा. अभी हमने ये पढ़ा ही था, समझा ही था कि जीएसटी लॉ ने हमें इसका एक एक्सेप्शन दे दिया. तो होता है ना कि इतनी मुश्किल से तो हमने ये चीज अपने थोड़ा माइंड में सेट की कि हाँ भाई सप्लाई में गुड सर्विसेज होने चाहिए, कंसिडरेशन होना चाहिए, बिजनेस होना चाहिए. अब एक एक्सेप्शन आ गया फॉरन कि जहां पर वेदर और नॉट इन कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस, यानी बिजनेस टेस्ट चाहे है चाहे नहीं है, तब भी हम उसको सप्लाई मान लेंगे. बट कंसिडरेशन शुड बी देयर, कंसिडरेशन होना बहुत जरूरी है. सो एंड ऑब्वियसली इट शुड बी इम्पोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज. यहां पर हम सिर्फ सर्विसेज की बात कर रहे हैं, गुड्स की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. दैट इज ऑल्सो एन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. सो इन केस वी आर इम्पोर्टिंग सर्विसेज फॉर सम कंसिडरेशन, but we are not doing it in course or furtherance of business, we are using these services for our personal purposes, then that will be considered as supply. ये एक exception है to business test. Okay, I will give you an example also. So whether business element is present or it is absent, you will consider import of services for consideration as a supply. ये exception हमें GST law ने दी कि अगर कोई अपने personal purpose के लिए, personal use के लिए बाहर से सर्विसेज इंपोर्ट कर रहा है, then that will be considered as supply. देखो जब भी one point you all bear in mind that when I am discussing the concept of supply or we are doing the chapter of supply, that means अभी हम ये नहीं conclude कर रहे हैं कि GST इसके ऊपर लेवी होगा. That is a different thing separately that we will do in course of our discussion in later chapters. But अभी जो हमें समझना है वो यही है कि import of services for consideration, but without business also will be a supply. It can be in course of furtherance of business also. It can be otherwise in course of not in course of furtherance of business. Then also it will be a supply. But क्या दो conditions पूरी होनी चाहिए? It should be import of services. It should be import of services, and it should be for consideration. तो सर्विसेज होनी चाहिए, कंसिडरेशन होना चाहिए, बिजनेस हो या ना हो वो चल जाएगा. सो आई होप दैट इज क्लियर टू यू ऑल. Gulti saying previous one considered as okay, that was your previous doubt, Gulti. Okay, okay. Is acting his painting business, which is another business, so considered as business, yes, irrespective of the donation. That is so now you got that point, Gulti. And Mohan Raj is saying, what is it in course or furtherance, but no concept. What if it is in course of that point is a different point? We'll do it in schedule one, Mohan Raj. Don't worry. Just postpone your query. That answer you will get in this class itself. So this is first point, first exception to consideration that we have done. Sorry, in that first exception to in course or furtherance of business we have done. Now we come to the second point. Now this is the definition. So definition में एक clause जो है, एक subsection जो है, वो पहला तो normal definition थी जो हमें बताई, goods or services consideration made by a person agreed to be made or agreed to be made. And then we did all forms of supply, all 8 illustrative forms of supply also. Now then we did an exception कि अगर business नहीं भी है तो आप कैसे उसको supply मान लोगे. Example क्या है? Ramaya, a proprietor, has received the architect services for his personal residence. जैसे ही हमने personal residence word पढ़ा, so we said कि business test तो नहीं है. ये services किस लिए provide की जा रही हैं? This services provided by this particular person who is an architect. He is providing these services not in course or furtherance of business. ये इसने personal purpose के लिए provide कर दिए. These services have been provided, or these services this Ramaya has received for his personal purposes from an architect located in New York. Consideration यहाँ पे present है. तो business test तो present नहीं है, मतलब satisfy नहीं हो रहा, but consideration is there, and it is the import of services. So that is why it will be considered as supply. Hope this point is clear to you. Yes, Mohan Raj, you are right. This is a supply. Personal use is fixed asset. Aditya, you want to say that if we are using it for personal use, it should be for fixed assets. Please elaborate your query once so that I can get the exact point you want to ask. Okay, Kuldeep wants to get see Ramaya case you want to know again. Okay, Kuldeep, Ramaya has imported architect services for his personal residence, his house. He want to get it designed from an architect that is located outside India. For that, he has paid the consideration of $5,000. And this consideration, this consideration is there, services are there. Now, what is not there is the business purpose, that he is receiving these services for purposes other than business. That is for his personal purpose, he is receiving this architect services. And that is why it in normal course, it should not have been supplied. But here, because of this clause or section 7(1) clause B, I'm not focusing much on clauses and subsections because I want you to focus more on provision. And so therefore, this will be considered as supply. इसमें business नहीं है, consideration है, service है, 7(1) में include होगा, and that is why it will be a supply. So I hope that is clear to you, Kuldeep. If in case you still have a doubt, you can ask. Architect belongs to land or building. No, Aditya. Architect belongs to land or building. What do you mean? Okay, services with regard to land or building. So it is not always necessary that you should take the services with regard to land and building or some fixed assets only, Aditya. No, that is not the case. You can receive any services. You can receive any services from a person outside India. Suppose you are receiving the online money gaming services. And suppose it is for your personal purpose, because definitely it will be your for personal purpose only. But then also that will be considered as a supply because of section 7(1)(b). So it is not always necessary that those services which you are importing from outside India should be in relation to fixed assets. No, that is not the case. Okay, Kuldeep got that point. Mustafa is asking, no, Kuldeep, Mustafa, sections, clauses, please focus on provisions. Don't get lost into the world of sections, subsections, clauses. Please don't get lost into that. You have to focus on the provisions. Provision को समझो, provision ही reiterate करना एग्जाम में. Don't focus much on sections, subsections. जब आप बहुत एक चीज को पढ़ते हो ना तो आपको sections, subsections याद हो जाते हैं. That is a different thing. वो आपको याद है, बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट आप उनको स्पेशली एक चार्ट बना के सारे सेक्शंस याद करो. दैट आई पर्सनली डोंट बिलीव इन दैट. It's business for yes, for Ramaya, it's not in course or furtherance of business. Riddhiben, you are right. आर्किटेक्चर की बात नहीं हो रही अभी, यहाँ आर्किटेक्ट की बात नहीं हो रही. यहाँ पे रमैया ने जो वो सर्विसेज रिसीव करी हैं, दे आर नॉट इन कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस, और देन ऑल्सो दे हैव बीन कंसिडर्ड एज सप्लाई. Okay, Mustafa, you got that point. Okay. Shraddha, you want me to summarize it? Okay, let me summarize it for you once again. That in case you are, initially we did that supply means supply of goods or supply of services made or agreed to be made for consideration in course or furtherance of business by a person, and supply includes all forms of supply, and there were 8 illustrative forms of supply. So till that point we had covered. Now, one exception to the business point, that the transaction should be in course or furtherance of business. One exception is import of services. So, in case you are importing the services, then there should be consideration for that import of services. Business test might not be present, might not be qualified. So, even if it is not in course or furtherance of business, that will qualify as supply. So, I hope that is clear to you all. Now, let us move to the next point. Activities or transactions between a person other than individual and its members. Just read that slide and give me a minute. Just read that slide for a minute. So let us see the point which we are going to discuss now. Hmm. Hmm. So any transaction or any activities or transactions between a person other than an individual. Okay. When we were discussing club point, services provided or goods provided by a club, by an RWA, by an association of persons to its members, we discussed that earlier there was a, under service tax law, it was always a contentious point कि अगर कोई क्लब अपनी members को कोई services देता है या vice versa, members अपनी club को देते हैं, RWA है, कोई association of persons है, chambers of commerce हैं आपके जो ये trade associations and trade unions, if they are providing services to their members, then whether that will be considered as a service provided by one person to another person, whether we will consider them two separate persons, or they are one persons only, and that is why the services or goods provided among them does not qualify as service or goods. Sorry, does not qualify as supply. So this doubt was prevailing in GST law also. सर्विस टैक्स में बहुत सारे ऐसे केस लॉज थे जिन्होंने ये रूल किया कि दे आर नॉट टू सेपरेट पर्संस, दे आर नॉट टू सेपरेट लीगल एंटिटीज, दे आर वन, एंड देयरफॉर दे कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड सर्विसेज टू अमंग देमसेल्व्स. कोई क्लब अपने मेंबर्स को, कोई आरडब्ल्यूए अपने मेंबर्स को सर्विसेज नहीं प्रोवाइड कर सकता, एंड सेम वे अदरवाइज ऑल्सो इट्स करेक्ट. So this was the point which was there earlier. Now under GST law, this has been clarified by a subsection, that is clause AA, which was inserted afterwards to clarify that any services provided by a club, any activities or transactions between a club or RWA and its members for a consideration. Now, this consideration can be in cash, it can be in kind, or it can be a deferred consideration also. Any type of consideration. हमने किया था consideration किसी भी form में हो, वो consideration ही होती है. So, if these activities or transactions are taking place between a club between an RWA, between a trade association, between a chamber of commerce and its members, then it qualifies as supply. ये एक explicitly provide किया गया supply की definition में, just to remove all the doubts which were prevailing earlier कि club और उसके members अलग अलग होते हैं या same होते हैं. Okay, तो दिस इज सिंपल. जैसे कि आपने अपने मेंबर्स को सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड की ऑफ डिपॉजिटिंग बिल्स, जो हमने पिछले एग्जांपल में देखा था, या हम उनको कुछ गुड्स प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, या हम उनके लिए मेंटेनेंस सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. सारा मेंटेनेंस आपका आरडब्ल्यूए करता है. आपका क्लब है तो वो कुछ रिक्रिएशनल एक्टिविटीज कर रहा है. क्लब इज कंडक्टिंग अ डिनर फॉर ऑल द मेंबर्स. सो जनरली जो परसेप्शन अभी तक प्रिवेल किया है वो ये है कि क्लब और मेंबर्स एक ही होते हैं. मेंबर्स से मिलके ही क्लब बनता है. ट्रेड एसोसिएशन अपने मेंबर्स से मिलके ही बनती है. इट इज नॉट अ सेपरेट एंटिटी. But GST law has clarified that no, they are considered as separate persons. For that, we have this uh, explanation also, which is provided here. First is activities or transactions by a person other than an individual. Now, examples of a person other than individual we have done. We have already taken trade association, club, RWAs. Then we have the chambers of commerce. These are all, some gym is providing some membership to its gym to its members. So these type of persons, if they are providing any services to its constituents or members, the persons who are constituting this particular association for cash, for deferred payment, or for other valuable consideration, then that qualifies as supply. तो अगर कोई भी RWA, कोई भी क्लब अपने मेंबर्स को कोई सर्विस दे रहा है या मेंबर्स क्लब को सर्विस दे रहे हैं, that qualifies as supply. अब उसमें जो डाउट था कि ये दोनों अलग अलग होते हैं, एक ही पर्सन होते हैं, उसके लिए भी एक एक्सप्लेनेशन है, which provides nothing, notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force or judgment, decree or order of any court, tribunal or authority. किसी भी कोर्ट रूलिंग को हमने ना मानते हुए, overriding all the court rulings, we have said person and its members or constituents shall be deemed to be two separate persons. Most important words are टू सेपरेट पर्सन्स, यानी कि क्लब और उसके मेंबर्स, आरडब्ल्यू और उसके मेंबर्स दोनों अलग अलग पर्सन्स माने जाएंगे, और इसीलिए वो आपस में एक दूसरे को गुड्स और सर्विसेज दे सकते हैं, सप्लाई कर सकते हैं वो एक दूसरे में. एंड द सप्लाई ऑफ एक्टिविटीज और ट्रांजेक्शंस इंटर से शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी, इंटर से शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी टू टेक प्लेस फ्रॉम वन सच पर्सन टू अनदर पर्सन. थोड़ा क्लैरिफिकेटरी टाइप का ये एक क्लॉज है, जो ये बताता है कि क्लब और उसके मेंबर्स की सर्विसेज जो है वो सप्लाई मानी जाती है. बिजनेस की डेफिनेशन में शुरू से ही था, बट बिजनेस की डेफिनेशन में होने से वो सप्लाई नहीं हो जाता. तो कंटेंशन शुरू से यही था कि अगर आपका कोई क्लब और उसके मेंबर्स हैं तो उनकी सर्विसेज एक दूसरे के लिए, उनकी गुड्स जो आपस में एक दूसरे में प्रोवाइड की जा रही है एक दूसरे को, दैट इज नॉट अ सप्लाई. बट दिस क्लॉज व्हेन इट वाज इंसर्टेड, it clarified कि no, they are two different persons, they are two separate persons, and therefore the activities or transactions between them shall be deemed to have taken place by one person to another person. I hope this is simple and this you would have understood. Let me take the doubt. But supply between same entity in same state, Mohanraj, again it is a different point. Yes, between the same entity in same state with same registration. So others will do that point later on, but for your clarification, I want to tell, yes, that is not a supply, but same registration. That should be same registration. This is entirely a different point. This is not a manufacturing concern or a company. It's a person other than a individual, an association of persons, the clubs, or who are actually constituted by its members. जो भी इस तरह के एसोसिएशंस हैं जो कि अपने मेंबर्स से ही उनकी एग्जिस्टेंस बनती है, they are different or separate persons from their members, and they can provide services among themselves. They are two separate persons, Aishwarya. Absolutely right. So example, this is a pictorial representation के एक RW है और उसके सारे members हैं जो वहाँ के residents हैं उस society के. So any transaction between them that will qualify as supply. Just to give you a pictorial representation. And secondly, that RWA का example थोड़ा ज़्यादा prominent example है इसके अंदर, इसलिए I'm taking it against just to have that retention in your mind कि जब हम ये वाला clause discuss करते हैं तो हम RWA की बात या clubs की बात कर रहे हैं. That is why I'm taking this example. So RWA, if it is providing any services to its members or goods, to its members or other vice versa, then these two persons will be first of all considered as two separate persons, and activities between them will be considered to have taken place between two separate persons. इन दोनों को अलग अलग मानना है. जब तक इनको हम अलग नहीं मानेंगे तब तक हमें ये नहीं लगेगा कि वो सर्विसेज किसी और को दे रहे हैं. तो क्लब और मेंबर्स अगर एक ही हैं तो कौन किसको सर्विस दे रहा है या कौन किसको गुड्स प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, गुड्स सप्लाई कर रहा है. इसीलिए पहले ये हुआ कि ये सेपरेट पर्सन हैं और ये एक दूसरे को सर्विस या सप्लाई कर रहे हैं. सो आई होप दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर. अभी हमने दो एक्सेप्शंस किए. पहला किया इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज फॉर कंसिडरेशन विदाउट बिजनेस, सप्लाई है. Second, supply made by a club by RWA to its members or by members to RWA club or association is a supply. दो points हमने किए, दो exceptions किए. I hope these two exceptions are clear to everyone. If anyone has any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, we are moving to Schedule 1. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है पूरे सप्लाई चैप्टर में कि शेड्यूल 1, जहां पर अभी तक तो हमने बिजनेस टेस्ट को खत्म करके एक एक्सेप्शन किया कि चलो बिजनेस नहीं भी है तो भी सप्लाई मान लिया. बहुत छोटा सा पॉइंट था, इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज, सिंगल ट्रांजेक्शन हमने करी उसमें. अब नाउ वी आर एक्चुअली प्लंजिंग इनटू अ पूल ऑफ द कोर ऑफ जीएसटी, जहां पे हमने सप्लाई ना होते हुए भी उसको सप्लाई मान लिया है. ऐसी 4 ट्रांजेक्शंस हम अब पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. दी एक्टिविटीज विदाउट कंसिडरेशन. अभी तक हमने माना था कि कंसिडरेशन तो मिलेगी, सिर्फ बिजनेस टेस्ट को हमने एग्जेम्प्ट कर दिया था, रिलैक्स कर दिया था. नाउ सर्टेन एक्टिविटीज विदाउट कंसिडरेशन, they will be deemed as supply, and those activities have been listed in schedule 1. Now this is the most important schedule in the supply chapter, schedule 1, जो ये बताएगा कि ये supply नहीं होते हुए भी सप्लाई मानी जाएगी. आफ्टर दैट शेड्यूल 3 है जो ये बताता है कि ये सप्लाई के पैरामीटर्स में तो फॉल करता है, लेकिन तब भी इसको हमने सप्लाई की डेफिनेशन से निकाल के बाहर कर दिया है. बट दैट वी विल डू लेटर ऑन. दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वील स्टार्ट विद शेड्यूल 1. So I hope till now everything is clear to everyone. I'm starting with schedule 1. Okay. Schedule 1 कहता है कि permanent transfer of business assets. Permanent transfer और disposal. परमानेंट मतलब तो आप समझते हो कि एक बार आपने दे दिया, आप किसी से वापस नहीं लोगे. दैट मीन्स आपने उसकी ओनरशिप ट्रांसफर कर दी, अब आप उससे वापस नहीं ले सकते. टेम्पररी होता है तो क्या होता है, इफ यू आर टेम्पररी ट्रांसफरिंग समथिंग, दैट मीन्स यू आर गिविंग इट ऑन रेंट और यू आर गिविंग इट फॉर सम टाइम एंड देन यू विल टेक इट बैक. दैट इज कॉल्ड दी टेम्पररी. बट परमानेंट ट्रांसफर की बात हम कर रहे हैं कि परमानेंटली आई हैव ट्रांसफर्ड बिजनेस एसेट्स और आई हैव डिस्पोज्ड दी बिजनेस एसेट्स. डिस्पोज भी आपने पढ़ा था कि आप डिस्पोज कब करते हो, व्हेन यू आर समथिंग इज नॉट रेलेवेंट फॉर यू, सम एसेट इन द बिजनेस इज नॉट एट ऑल ऑफ यूज, रिडंडेंट हो गया है, ऑब्सोलीट हो गया है, एंड देन यू हैव टू सेल इट. या आपने बिना कंसिडरेशन के ऐसे ही उसको, यू हैव जस्ट डिस्पोज इट, यू हैव जस्ट गॉट रिड ऑफ दैट. डिस्पोजल का मतलब होता है टू गेट रिड ऑफ समथिंग. सो यू हैव जस्ट स्क्रैप्ड योर मशीनरी बिकॉज इट वॉज no more useful for your production. It had got redundant, it was obsolete. So that is called disposal. So permanent transfer or disposal of business assets where ITC has been availed on such assets. Now these are the 4 transactions. I will be taking each of them one by one. So we'll be starting with para 1 first. Para 1 जो अभी हमने discuss किया था, permanent transfer or disposal of business assets where ITC has been availed on such assets. अभी ITC के प्रोविजंस तो आपने नहीं किए हैं, बट हम चैप्टर 1 में सीमलेस फ्लो ऑफ क्रेडिट्स की बात बार बार कर रहे थे. क्रेडिट मिलता है, जो बेसिक वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स का हमने जब कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ा था. सो वी गॉट दैट आइडिया कि यहाँ पर जीएसटी में क्रेडिट तो मिलता है. वी गॉट क्रेडिट दैट इज कॉल्ड इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट, यानी वॉट एवर टैक्स यू पे ऑन इनपुट्स और कैपिटल गुड्स और इनपुट सर्विसेज, दैट इज अवेलेबल फॉर पेमेंट ऑफ योर आउटपुट टैक्स. ये टर्म्स आई थिंक सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी है. जो भी आपने अपनी परचेज पे टैक्स पे किया है उसका क्रेडिट आपको सेल पर जब आपको टैक्स पे करना है उसके लिए यूज होता है. वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स में बहुत सिंपल सा ट्रांजेक्शन हमने वो देखा भी था. सो हियर ऑल्सो वट एवर बिजनेस एसेट्स यू आर सेलिंग, यू आर ट्रांसफरिंग, यू आर डिस्पोजिंग. इनफैक्ट सेल वर्ड नहीं यूज करें क्योंकि कंसिडरेशन आप नहीं ले रहे हो. यू हैव जस्ट ट्रांसफर्ड योर बिजनेस एसेट्स टू समवन और यू हैव डिस्पोज देम, स्क्रैप कर दिया आपने. आपके पास मशीनरी, जैसे मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया, मशीनरी किसी काम की नहीं बची, आपने उसको बाहर डिस्पोज कर दिया विदाउट टेकिंग एनी कंसिडरेशन. कुछ पैसे मिले ही नहीं उसके, लेकिन आपने जब उसको परचेज किया था तब आपने उसके ऊपर आईटीसी लिया था. दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट कंडीशन. that ITC should have been taken. अगर ये कंडीशन पूरी नहीं होती है, then we do not fall in schedule 1. तो schedule 1 में अगर आपको किसी चीज को सप्लाई मानना है तो all the conditions should be satisfied. These three parameters we have given. We'll discuss them one by one. Let me see one doubt. Yes, ITC availment कुलदीप is the crux और the basic condition, underlying condition क्या है? ITC जरूर उस पे अवेल किया हुआ होना चाहिए, तभी आप उसको आगे सप्लाई मानोगे, नहीं तो नहीं मानोगे, क्योंकि कुछ केसेस में ITC नहीं मिलता है. So we'll see the examples for this particular clause, but let us see first of all the conditions for falling in schedule 1. First is there should be a disposal or there should be a transfer. Okay, या तो हमें डिस्पोज करने हैं, डिस्पोज मैंने आपको बता दिया, इट इज डिस्पोजल, दैट इज गेटिंग रिड ऑफ. जस्ट अ मिनट. तो और वी आर ट्रांसफर्ड इट टू समवन. ट्रांसफर का क्या एग्जांपल हो सकता है? यू हैव गिवन इट टू योर फ्रेंड, यू हैव गिवन इट टू अ चैरिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. ट्रांसफर कर दिया, वहां पे कुछ पैसे नहीं लिए, आपने बोला मेरे पुराने लैपटॉप्स पड़े थे, आप रख लो, आपके काम आ जाएंगे. या आपका you have some old you are a garment business organizer, sorry, garment business you have, and you have given old clothes to the person who is to an orphanage. So वो ट्रांसफर हो गया. we'll see the examples also for that. ट्रांसफर क्या किया है आपने? बिजनेस एसेट्स को ट्रांसफर किया है. अब बिजनेस एसेट्स में क्या आता है? बिजनेस एसेट्स, इफ यू सी दी अकाउंटिंग डेफिनेशन, बिजनेस एसेट्स इंक्लूड दी stock in trade also. Fixed assets as well as stock in trade are included in business assets. But we have there is a view now here. There are two views actually, though you are an intermediate student, but यहाँ पे you should know this point कि generally some people take here only capital goods. This is one of the views because we have lot many advanced rulings which take only capital goods here, and some take here stock in trade also. That means the current assets, you can say. So that is also included here in the business assets. So what you are disposing or transferring is business assets. Now this transfer should be permanent. परमानेंट का क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है कि आपने कुछ टाइम के लिए यूज करने के लिए नहीं दिया है, आपने उनको परमानेंटली उनको दे दिया है. दैट हैज बीन ट्रांसफर्ड परमानेंटली, and ITC must have been availed. So these are the three conditions which should be fulfilled for falling in schedule 1. Now we'll see some examples, then we'll get it clear. So before that, let me take your doubts. These are the conditions which are presented by way of a picture. GST on sale, GST received on purchase, net GST, which is GST received on purchase equal to net GST. Yes, this is a simple formula, Mustafa, but there are some block credits, there are some other concepts also which are there present here, but this is the simple concept. Simply, we have to understand it this way. Yes, Mohan Raj, I am giving the example. Title, yes, title has to be transferred, Mohan Raj. Title would be transferred. That means possession as well as title. That will be that is why we use the word permanent. So when we are transferring something permanent, obviously the title would have also been transferred. So I hope Mohan Raj, you got this point that this will be permanent transfer. Okay, Golti. Okay, Golti, you are from Andhra. Okay, nothing will be. I will not be telling anything which is not, which I will not be speaking in English. If I say something in Hindi, don't worry. You will also get the same point in English. Nothing will be missed. Don't worry. So, yes, ITC, you did not understand the ITC point, Golti. Uh, ITC means that you will be getting the credit of the tax paid on purchase. So if suppose on purchase of any business assets, you have paid a tax of 10 rupees, and now I'm not taking this example, I'm telling you the ITC concept. So suppose on some goods you have purchased, you have paid a tax of 10 rupees. When you sold those goods, you are a trader, and when you sold those goods, you have to pay a tax of 12 rupees. Is payable. Tax payable is 12 rupees. So you will get an adjustment. This 10 rupees tax paid on purchase will be adjusted again 12 rupees against 12 rupees tax. Okay. So only net 2 rupees has to be paid by the seller. That is what input tax credit is there. But here we are saying, we are not saying input tax credit has been utilized. Input tax credit has been availed. That means I have taken in my account that 10 rupees ITC with respect to this business asset. Now, when I sell that business asset, I could have used this credit, but still I can use this credit for other purposes also. That is not an issue. It's not that there is no one-to-one correlation कि इसी business asset के against ही आप उस credit को use करोगे. There is no such condition that only the credit pertaining to this business asset can be used for while selling, while paying tax at the time of sale of such business asset. No such condition is there. That is not the condition. So ITC should have been availed. मेरे account में ITC आ गया होना चाहिए इस business asset का. Then that will be considered as supply. You said ITC cannot be claimed. What's the point? Okay, I think you have got it. Certain items the ITC is blocked. That we'll see in one example. We will see, so you'll get an idea. What if business asset was sold for if it was sold for minimum consideration? Suppose it was sold for 10 rupees also. Then this would have not fallen in this. It would have been a normal supply. It would have been a supply per se. Supply तो वो होता और अब वो 10 rupees आप एक्सेप्ट करोगे नहीं करोगे कभी जी, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, दैट वी हैव टू सी इन द सब्सिक्वेंट चैप्टर्स. बट अभी तो हम सिर्फ वी आर जस्ट कंक्लूडिंग वेदर इट इज अ सप्लाई और इट इज नॉट अ सप्लाई. अगर कंसिडरेशन आ गई, अभी सब कुछ क्या है, विदाउट कंसिडरेशन है. हर क्लॉज में, हर पैरा में हम एज्यूम कर रहे हैं दैट कंसिडरेशन इज नॉट देयर. ओके, बट इफ कंसिडरेशन कम्स इनटू प्ले, हम शेड्यूल 1 से पहले तो बाहर आ जाएंगे और नॉर्मल सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन बन जाएगी. सो कबिजित इट विल बी अ नॉर्मल सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन. ओके ओके, Sangeeta Vani, it is clear. And Meenu, ownership. Yes, title means ownership. ITC must be availed means, what I mean here is, what is availed? Availed means what, ma'am? What is availed? Availed means that you have taken, you have see, ITC is not a thing that you have taken it in one hand and you are directly paid at the time of output tax. Suppose I have made 10 transactions in a month on which I have paid a tax of purchase transactions. I have paid a tax of 100 rupees. So this 100 rupees will be credited to my credit ledger. Now, when it is credit ledger, it will be lying in my credit ledger. And when I'm paying the output tax, suppose output tax this month I have to pay only 50 rupees. So I will be utilizing, out of this credit ledger, I will be utilizing only 50 rupees, and 50 rupees will still lie in my electronic credit ledger. So this availed means I have not yet utilized. Abhi mere account mein they are still lying in my account, in my ledger, credit ledger, but I have not yet utilized. So यहाँ पर when I say avail, so it could have been availed plus utilized, or it could have been just availed. That means I have taken credit on that at the time of purchase, or it has actually gone into my account. That is what avail means. Now, whether it has been utilized or not utilized, that is irrelevant. So that out of this 100 rupees credit which I have availed, my business asset, whatever business asset I am transferring, that credit should also have been taken by me. That is what credit should have been taken, or it should have gone into my business, electronic credit ledger. Okay. I think we can move forward to some example. Let us see this pictorial representation, and then we'll move to the example. Okay, so Meenu, you also got that point. Mustafa from ITC, he thought about ITC company which manufactures tobacco, cigarette per se. So not so within limited period we have to use. No period is there. There is only time to avail the ITC, Meenu, but utilization you can do any time. There is no time for utilization. GST department is liable to us, to be frank. So why are you saying this, Anil? If a company distribute a clothes for the purpose of if it is doing for advertisement, and that is not an issue, Arun Sagar. Only thing is consideration should not be there. So if consideration is not there, then you have actually gone into that consideration quid pro quo actually. But that does not mean, that is not a, we are doing a charity, but we are not taking consideration in return. We are not asking them to give us anything. But then also, if we have taken credit on those clothes, then we will fall in schedule 1. Arun, I will take the example, Arun, that will become more clear to you. Okay, so now it is clear to everyone. Let us take the first example. A company facing shortage of storage space, it disposes of a redundant machinery on which ITC was taken at the time of purchase. So this is going to be a ट्रांजेक्शन ऑफ शेड्यूल 1। ये एप्ट एग्जांपल है कि आपकी कंपनी में एक मशीन थी, रिडंडेंट हो गई, सिर्फ स्पेस ऑक्यूपाई कर रही थी और उसका कोई यूज नहीं है। सो यू हैव डिस्पोज्ड इट ऑफ कि भाई ये तो हमारे यहाँ इतना स्पेस ऑक्यूपाई कर रही है, आई शुड डिस्पोज इट ऑफ, आई शुड, नाउ आई एम नॉट सेलिंग, आई एम जस्ट getting rid of it, I have disposed it, I have scrapped it, that will, but I had taken ITC on that machinery. So then it becomes a supply as per schedule 1 para 1 because ITC has been availed. ITC avail कर लिया तो अब आप उससे बच नहीं सकते हो, बट हाँ ITC avail करना बहुत जरूरी है। Still हाँ, Anil, I told, yes, that 50 is still lying in our credit ledger. Okay. हाँ, so now second example. Dhruv has given old laptops being used in his business. Now he was using these laptops to his friend free of cost. Dhruv ने ये अपने friend को दे दिए free of cost. So he has taken ITC on those laptops. Laptops पे ITC मिलता भी है, ये ध्रुव ने उस पे ITC लिया हुआ था। अगर तो हमने कंडीशन खैर इसलिए लिखी कि अगर उसने ITC लिया है, अगर उसने ITC अवेल नहीं किया है उनके ऊपर, तब वो सप्लाई नहीं होगा। बट अपने फ्रेंड को दे दिया, परमानेंट ट्रांसफर हो गया। ये डिस्पोजल नहीं है, परमानेंट ट्रांसफर है, उसने ऐसे उसको डिस्पोज ऑफ नहीं किया, उसने स्क्रैप नहीं किया, उसने अपने फ्रेंड को दे दिया, फर्दर यूज होगा वो लैपटॉप, दैट लैपटॉप विल बी यूज्ड फर्दर, बट it has been permanently transferred to his friend free of cost, and this qualifies as supply provided ITC has been taken by Dhruv on such laptops. So we can assume that Dhruv has taken ITC, and then we can assume that this is a supply under para 1 of schedule 1. Okay. Permanent disposal and ITC also taken. Yes, Sangeeta, that is important. Second example. In fact, third example. A dealer of air conditioners permanently transfers the motor vehicle free of cost. Okay. Now, a person is selling air conditioners. He had a car for his business purpose. Now, he transferred his car free of cost to someone. Maybe his friend, maybe to some charitable organization, orphanage, whatever it is. He has transferred the car to someone free of cost. जैसे ही free of cost हम पढ़ेंगे, wherever we read free of cost word in any of the examples, any of the questions in the exam, free of cost पढ़ते ही आपको पहले schedule 1 में जरूर आना है। तो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट हमने पढ़ा, वी इनटू शेड्यूल 1 वी सॉ दैट ठीक है, ये परमानेंट ट्रांसफर हो गया, ठीक है, परमानेंट ट्रांसफर है, बिजनेस एसेट है, these two conditions are satisfied. Now third condition says ITC should have been availed. Now we are not going into ITC chapter, not at all, just an idea, just a hint for understanding this particular transaction. ITC on motor vehicle is blocked. ये वो मोटर व्हीकल था जिसपे ITC ब्लॉक था, तो ITC has not been availed. Okay, ITC has not been availed. So when an ITC has not been availed, that means this transaction will not constitute a supply. क्यों? Permanent transfer हुआ, business asset था, consideration नहीं थी. But what was absent was ITC has been taken or not. So ITC was not taken because ITC was blocked. आप ले नहीं सकते थे इसलिए ITC नहीं लिया, तब भी आपको ये schedule 1 में नहीं आएगा, because you have not taken any ITC on the motor cars, motor vehicles. Therefore, this is not a schedule 1 supply. It is not a supply. Okay. So today I'm not actually allowing you to answer this because I want to cover this portion. Schedule 2 when we will be covering, I will allow you to answer also because थोड़ा portion is मैं cover करना चाहती हूँ. What is input tax credit? Aditya, you know, it is actually the tax paid on purchase of any product which you, or any service which you will be utilizing for paying the tax paid on the output supply or outward supply. So that set off is allowed, and that is what is input tax credit. You're right, Mohan Raj, that ITC must be availed. If not availed, it may be considered as a normal consumption. So yes, then so there is no loss to GST council. That is true. So if you have availed the ITC and you are disposing the product, then you have to consider it as supply. In fact, that is very good way of learning it. ITC normally adjusts to every year, normally adjusts to every transaction while making outstanding GST payment. Yes. So whenever you are making any payment of GST, you have to see your electronic credit ledger, and whatever is available, you can use that. This is how it works. We'll not go in RCM, Anil. Can it be considered as supply under Schedule 1 in case of permanent transfer is claimed by the receiver? No, Anil, actually, ITC is always claimed by the receiver. I always claim ITC on my purchase. So when I am claiming ITC, I am a purchaser only. I am a receiver only. So it doesn't make any difference if the tax is being paid by the RCM is what? RCM is only a way of depositing tax. So okay, you can take it this way कि your electricity bill has to be paid at home. So either you pay it or your father pays it. Doesn't make a difference. Burden is on your family, or you can say maybe burden has to be borne by the person who is bearing it. So it is only a deposit wala jo point hai, that has been given to receiver in case of RCM. But ITC will always be taken by the receiver, whether it is payable under RCM, whether it is payable under forward charge. That does not make a difference for the ITC. So अगर यहाँ RCM भी है तो कोई difference नहीं आएगा इस transaction में. And others who don't know RCM, please don't get confused. In earlier days, RTC of car is allowed, but many cars bought in the name of company were used for personal. Mohanraj, actually, for in initial days of GST only, ITC on cars, yes, to certain extent it was available. In fact, that has been relaxed after certain period. So, but used for personal purpose will never be allowed. Today also it is not allowed. मानव इज आस्किंग इफ मशीनरी पर डिप्रिसिएशन लगा. अभी आईटीसी के प्रोविजन हम बिल्कुल डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे, वरना आज सिर्फ चैप्टर आईटीसी डिस्कस होगा. तो आपको मानना है बस आईटीसी मिलेगा, मिल चुका है या नहीं मिला है, अवेल किया या नहीं किया, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. So if he sells the laptop, will he get benefit of ITC? Yes. If he sell the laptop, Shamli, for consideration, then he can take the credit. And here also, if this is considered as deemed supply. Here we have considered, not in this case per se, in laptop wala case, if this we consider it to be a supply, then we will be valuing it, we'll be paying tax on this particular supply transaction. So while paying the tax on laptop, he can use the ITC. But this is all about ITC chapter, so we'll not go in much depth. Just you have to understand this particular transaction. So whoever avails does not matter, ITC availed, and Anil, it will always be availed by the receiver. That I was telling you. Who pays the tax, whether under RCM or FCM, that is not relevant. That is what is immaterial. Agricultural transactions, we have exemption per afterwards, but for that means they are under purview of supply, but they will be exempted afterwards. So that is a different point. We are not into exemption today, we are only into supply or not. So everyone got confused of ITC. Ma'am, you should say ITC is part of direct tax so that everyone got to know it in detail. So it is not a part of direct tax, Harsh, but yes, just to prevent everyone from getting too much in depth of ITC, that we can say, please don't go into ITC. आप सिर्फ ये समझो ITC. Now you can just take it on you can learn it or you can memorize it कि ITC है तो सप्लाई होगा, ITC अवेल नहीं किया है तो सप्लाई नहीं होगा. This much is important. Saipa is asking for the break. Just let me cover this particular second clause also, Saipa. Para 2. I will give you the break. And today, if time permits, we'll take the quiz. Otherwise, we'll take the quiz tomorrow after completing the entire topic. Then we'll conduct a quiz. So para 2 says supply between. So first clause is clear to everyone that we have discussed. There must be disposal or transfer of business assets. That should be permanent disposal or transfer, and ITC should have been availed. So even if consideration is not there, it will be considered as supply. ठीक है. अगर आपने परमानेंटली अपने कुछ एसेट्स को, बिजनेस एसेट्स को डिस्पोज कर दिया है या ट्रांसफर कर दिया है और उनपे आपने आईटीसी अवेल किया था, तो आपने कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं भी लिया, आपने फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट किया ये काम, तब भी आप उसको सप्लाई मानोगे. दैट इज पैरा 1. नाउ पैरा 2 सेज सप्लाई बिटवीन रिलेटेड पर्सन. अब रिलेटेड पर्सन क्या होता है, आपको एक बहुत सिंपल सी डेफिनेशन समझ आती होगी. रिलेटेड पर्सन मतलब वो आप रिलेटेड पर्सन से समझ में इतना तो आता है कि किसी तरह से वो एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड है, एसोसिएटेड है, रिलेटेड है. They are related persons. This definition we will do if time permits at the end of the class or maybe tomorrow. पर आज हम थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट कवर करने के लिए अभी इसको ऐसे ही लेंगे कि रिलेटेड पर्सन है, हमसे वो दो पर्सन आपस में रिलेटेड है. सो दैट विल बी कवर्ड इन पैरा 2. Or they are distinct persons. Distinct persons we will do today, because related persons so you can do in value chapter also, but we'll try to cover it tomorrow or today. So I will be giving you break after 5 minutes, students, don't worry. Anil, I will answer your query, don't worry. Just give me 5 minutes. So supply between related person or distinct persons. Now, what type of supply? Supply of goods or supply of services or both. Between related person or distinct persons when made in course or furtherance of business. तो अगर मैं अपने किसी related person को कोई goods या services supply करती हूँ, तो मैं अगर उससे पैसे भी नहीं ले रही हूँ, तब भी मैं उसको supply मानूंगी. क्योंकि ये एक तरीका हो सकता है टैक्स इवेड करने का, इसलिए गवर्नमेंट ने उसको बाय डिफॉल्ट सप्लाई में इंक्लूड कर लिया। और टू माई डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन, अब डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन क्या है वो अभी हम देखेंगे। सो इफ आई एम मेकिंग एनी सप्लाई बिटवीन माई टू माई डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन और टू माई रिलेटेड पर्सन, then that will be considered as supply। अभी इस वाले पॉइंट को आपने नहीं देखना, as specified in section 75। ये सिर्फ इसलिए है कि distinct persons कहाँ पे डिस्कस हुआ है, section 25 में। but don't get confused in or don't get lost in section 25। आपको section 25 का कुछ नहीं करना। any supply made between related person, any supply made between distinct persons in course or furtherance of business, then it is a supply। let us see the example, but before that we have to see distinct person, then we'll come to this example। So related person की ये definition है which is there in section 15, that is value of supply। उसका its explanation provides this definition। This definition we will do tomorrow, so you just have to know that those persons who are related, any supply between them without consideration will also qualify as supply। This is also with regard to supply definition, some important point, but we will do it maybe at the end or tomorrow। नेक्स्ट इज डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन। रिलेटेड पर्सन से फिर भी आपको एक आइडिया मिल गया कि अच्छा रिलेटेड पर्सन आपस में कुछ एसोसिएटेड है, कुछ दे आर कनेक्टेड इन सम वे, सो दैट इज रिलेटेड पर्सन। नाउ एनी सप्लाई बिटवीन रिलेट डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन। सो व्हाट इज डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन एज पर जीएसटी लॉ? Distinct persons means those persons either they have distinct registration, different registration numbers। Now for that I have to give you an idea of the registration provisions, basic idea। registration में if you have obtained within a state, you have to obtain one registration। you can go with one registration। आपका एक state में you have 5 places of business, but you have an option to obtain one registration। that is allowed under GST law। आपने पांचों place of supply business के एक registration ले सकते हो। So one registration, at least one registration has to be taken in every state and in every state। So once you are making a taxable supply and you are eligible for registration as per registration provisions, then you have to take registration in every state from where you are making a taxable supply। तो आपने एक रजिस्ट्रेशन दिल्ली में लिया हुआ है और आपका एक, अब आपको हर स्टेट में अलग अलग रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना होता है। तो आपने दिल्ली में लिया तो आप यू हैव टू टेक रजिस्ट्रेशन इन हरियाणा, पंजाब, wherever you are making supply, from wherever you are making a taxable supply, you have to take registration। now different registrations means distinct persons। distinct persons का सिंपल मतलब है, ये तो एस्टेब्लिशमेंट पे हम आ गए। distinct persons means different or separate registrations। रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर को हम कैसे डिनोट करते हैं? अभी से हम सिंपल करेंगे, जीएसटीएन बोलते हैं, जीएसटी आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर। सो डिफरेंट जीएसटीएन्स या सेपरेट जीएसटीएन्स हैं अगर हमारे, तो वो डिस्टिंक्ट पर्संस होते हैं। अब इतना तो हमें पता है, वी नो दैट एवरी स्टेट I will have a separate registration number। So if transaction in between two states, then that means it is between distinct persons। Now another thing is that between same state, एक स्टेट में भी if I have different places of business, I can have different registrations। So मेरा एक place of मतलब एक state में I have 5 places of business। So maybe I have one shoe business, I have one toy business। So toy business has 2 offices or 2 showrooms, and that another business is shoe business that has 3 showrooms। So I can have 2 different registrations, or I can have separate registration for each place of business। I can have 5 registrations also। Within same state also I can have different registrations। For different state, different registration is mandatory। Within same state, different registration is optional। But if I have different registrations but same PAN number, different registrations but same PAN number, that means this is the same entity, same PAN number, एक PAN number के against ही आप registration लेते हो। तो if you're same entity, ABC and Associates एक firm है which is operating business in almost all the states across India, so it has to take registration in every state, and in some of the states it might have taken different or more than one registration also। So if different registrations are there, they are considered as distinct persons। I hope that is clear to you all। Then the establishment of so this is distinct persons। different registrations के बीच में जो भी transactions होंगी वो भी आप उनको supply मानोगे। यही हमने अभी पढ़ा para 2 से, supply between different distinct persons। so distinct persons means different registrations, चाहे same state में हो चाहे different states में हो। then we have बोलते saying same state means same state different pan है तो different entity, you are a different entity altogether, then you can't be related कौन होंगे, एक ही जैसे हम बोले एक family के लोग, a person from same family are we have to see whether they are related or not. So same way a person with same pan number, sorry, registrations under same pan number we have to consider. If I have different pan number, then I am a separate entity altogether. No question of distinct person will come. Let us see establishment of distinct persons. So these are the two different terms. हमने बोला section 25 में जो distinct persons हैं उनके बीच में अगर कोई भी transaction हो रही है तो वो supply मानी जाएगी, उसमें आपको consideration की जरूरत नहीं है. First हमने देखा distinct persons मतलब different registrations, whether within same state, whether in different states. बहुत simple है, आपको example से समझ में आ जाएगा कैसे हो रहा है. Second is establishment of distinct persons. Establishment of distinct persons का मतलब होता है कि one one establishment or one place of business is registered and in another state the registration has not been taken. Ab under GST law, if you are making a taxable supply, you have to take registration. Once you are eligible, आप जितने भी states में operate करोगे, registration mandatory होता है. But if you are making an exempt supply from any state, then that will be then registration is not required in that state. So अगर मैं उत्तराखंड में alcoholic liquor का business कर रहा हूँ, तो alcoholic liquor is outside GST, उसमें मुझे registration लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. I've taken this example to keep it simple कि अगर हम alcoholic liquor कहीं पे हमें registration किसी state में लेने की जरूरत नहीं थी, तो अगर इन दोनों offices के बीच में any transaction is taking place, one is restaurant, one is liquor shop, one is registered, one is unregistered under same PAN, then they are considered as establishment of distinct persons and they will also be covered under para 2. तो अगर इनके बीच में कोई भी transaction है, that will qualify as supply. This is the second point. So I hope this point is also clear to you all. पहला था distinct person, different registrations, whether within same state, whether in different states. Second, establishment of distinct persons. Establishment of distinct persons में क्या different हो जाता है? Why we are using a separate term? Establishment of distinct person. That means the one place of business is registered and another place of business is unregistered. Any transaction between them will qualify as supply. Okay, I hope this point you got. अनरजिस्टर्ड कैसे है कोई बिजनेस, क्योंकि एक बार आप जीएसटी में रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए एलिजिबल हो जाते हो तो आपको हर स्टेट, हर यूनियन टेरिटरी जहां से आपको बिजनेस करना है वहां पे रजिस्ट्रेशन लेके ही आप बिजनेस कर सकते हो. बट अनरजिस्टर्ड आप कैसे रह जाओगे कि वहां पे आप कोई टैक्सेबल सप्लाई नहीं कर रहे थे. तो इफ यू आर नॉट मेकिंग एनी टैक्सेबल सप्लाई देन रजिस्ट्रेशन इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. तो यहाँ पर एक आपका जो है लिकर बिजनेस था, वहां पे रजिस्ट्रेशन की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. रेस्टोरेंट बिजनेस में तो रजिस्ट्रेशन मैंडेटरी हो गया था क्योंकि आप एलिजिबल थे. सो एनी ट्रांजेक्शन बिटवीन दीज टू ऑफिसेज और दीज टू प्लेसेस ऑफ बिजनेस विल क्वालिफाई एज सप्लाई बिकॉज सेम पैन तो हम एज्यूम कर ही रहे हैं. ओके, अनदर एग्जांपल इज रजिस्टर्ड बिजनेस इन महाराष्ट्र एंड ऑफिस इन यूएसए. तो यूएसए में भी आप इंडिया में आके यूएसए के ऑफिस के लिए भी आपने इंडिया में रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं लिया होगा, सो इट विल बी एज गुड एज अनरजिस्टर्ड and this will also be considered as establishment of distinct persons. Distinct person हो या establishment of distinct persons हो, इनके बीच में कोई भी transaction होगी तो वो सप्लाई मानी जाएगी. पैसों की जरूरत नहीं है, कंसिडरेशन की जरूरत नहीं है, कॉस्ट की जरूरत नहीं है. ओके, I hope this point is clear. Let us take few examples. Before that, let me see some queries are popping up. So this point is clear to you. We'll take examples for distinct persons as well as establishment of distinct persons being supply. Related person, आपको मैंने बताया, I will be dealing it later on. But related persons also, if they have any transaction between them, any supply between them, then that will also qualify as supply without consideration. Okay, we know you got it. Here in Bengal, I saw all GST. Kabirjeet, this is a practical point you have covered. Yes, Mustafa, that is right. So don't get involved in GSTN now. Earlier you were lost in ITC. Now you don't get involved in GST. That this what I confused with earlier when ma'am. If an entity has two GST and Indian just yes. So if an entity has two GSTNs within same, I think you want to ask Mohanraj, same state, then they will be considered as different persons. They will be considered as distinct persons. Okay. they will be considered as distinct persons. उनको आप distinct person मानोगे. Same state में दो registration, more than one registration in a state. Different registration means distinct person. Different registration word आपको याद रखना है. Whether within same state, whether in different states. That is what is important. Or one person is registered and another establishment is unregistered in a different state. जो establishment of distinct persons की बात है यहाँ पर, two different states should be there. क्योंकि अगर आप when you talk about one registration in a state, that means all places are registered. So two different states are there, and in one state registration is there. Here it is outside India, or in the previous example it was within India also. One place of business was unregistered. Then also it is an establishment of distinct persons. Now we'll see the examples. So I hope Mohanraj your doubt is clear. Otherwise you can again ask it. Same office and its branch is not qualified. Same office and its branch is qualified, Meenu, only if they are having different registrations. If within a city, within a state, I have office as well as my branch, and I have not obtained separate registrations for them, because within a state I have this option that I do not obtain multiple registrations. I obtain only one registration. That option is there. Then it will not be a supply without consideration. In fact, within same state, whether you take consideration or not, it will not be considered as supply. What if one is registered and another is unregistered? Within same state, it is not possible, Riddhi. When once you have obtained registration, it is for all places of business, Riddhi. So don't think कि आप ऐसा कोई situation होगा जहाँ आपने एक state में एक जगह के लिए लिया, दूसरी जगह नहीं लिया. In fact, across India also, if you are eligible for registration, you have to take registration for all places, except from where you are making an exempt supply. Okay. Okay, Meenu. Mustafa, I'm doing these things. Oh, good, Mustafa. You're doing it in job, so you are getting a hands-on experience there. My relatives got registered in Assam and also have exempt income in UP. Is it now? How can we go on in income? Anil, we are talking about GST. So they have an exempt income. So exempt income, by exempt income, you want to say some business which is exempt in UP and they have got registered in Assam. So any transaction between Assam to UP will be, any supply will be a supply under GST. In UP, it is not mandatory. It's not exempt income, Gulti. It is exempt supply, which we are talking. Income पे तो GST लगेगा ही नहीं. So, okay. So if you are talking about income, then that's not an issue. If you're talking about some business in UP, then you would have got the answer. If both are registered, then definitely it is between distinct persons and it will qualify as supply even without consideration. If both are registered, then there is no doubt. That is very simple. Same PAN, then same PAN number, then also distinct person. Yes, PAN should be same, Jaya. Same PAN number, different registrations. Supply between them is supply under GST. Same PAN number, one person is one place of business in one state is registered, in another state registration is not there. Still, it will be considered as supply. Mohanraj, charge will be taken. Will be okay. I think faculty name will be updated. It will be by Mr. Arun Chajar, Mohanraj. Okay, WhatsApp group link, Achal, that will be shared in the main chat. But before that, let us take the example of supply between distinct persons. So first example is stock transfer or branch transfer qualify as supply. So one registration, one place of business. I have a factory in Lucknow and I have a showroom in Delhi. Now, this is very sure that, and both of them are registered. So this is very important that both the places of business in different states, they have to obtain registration compulsorily if they are eligible for registration. Once you are eligible for registration in every state, you have to take a separate registration. So registered Lucknow factory has given some stock transfer or maybe vice versa to registered Delhi showroom. Transaction between them will be considered as deemed supply. I hope this point is clear to you all. ये first example, simple example है. लखनऊ से दिल्ली में सामान आ रहा है और डिफरेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन दोनों के पास हैं, होंगे भी क्योंकि डिफरेंट स्टेट्स हैं, आपका सेम पैन नंबर भी है, तब भी आपको डिफरेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन लेने ही थे, तो वो क्या माने जाएंगे? स्टॉक ट्रांसफर को सप्लाई मानोगे आप. सेकंड है आपका लखनऊ पे फैक्ट्री है और कानपुर में शोरूम. ना दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. सो इन द स्टेट ऑफ यूपी इटसेल्फ यू हैव टू places of business. One is factory, one is showroom. And here you have not obtained multiple registrations, you have obtained only one single registration. So in that case, if any stock transfer is there between them, that will not be considered as supply. क्योंकि registration different नहीं है. I told you different registrations, then only supply between different registrations, then only they will be considered as distinct persons, and then only supply will qualify as supply. Here stock transfer, और यहाँ इन सारे examples में we have assumed कि consideration is not there. तो ये मैं बार बार repeat नहीं करूंगी, but you should assume that consideration is not there in all the examples. So any supply between two places of business within same state having same registration number, it is not a supply. Had it been different registration numbers within same state, that would have been considered as supply. This is the basic chart, summary chart. I will be giving you it in notes also. But let me see if anybody has any doubts. Oh, Sangeeta, that is clear to you. This is a summary chart that first of all, PAN should be same. तो ये तो basic condition है. PAN same होना चाहिए. अब सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन हैव बीन ऑब्टेन. पैन के लिए तो हम सेम वर्ड यूज करेंगे, बट रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए सेपरेट वर्ड जरूर 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 होना चाहिए. देन ओनली अगर सेपरेट है तो ये सप्लाई की तरह क्वालिफाई करेगा, अगर सेपरेट नहीं है तो सप्लाई भी नहीं होगा. इफ यू सी दिस चार्ट यू विल गेट एन आइडिया ऑफ और क्रक्स ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन. So supply of goods or services between distinct persons qualify as supply, related persons qualify as supply even without consideration. अब employer और employee जो हैं वो भी related persons होते हैं as per the definition of related persons. We have not seen the definition but they are related as per the definition of related persons. So services provided by an employee to employer. अच्छा ये this is somewhere related to schedule 3. But this point we will cover afterwards. Let me share it. Let's write it here. Later on we'll cover this point. So employer and employee are also related person. जैसे हमने बोला एक family के member हैं, they are related persons, but we will see some condition associated with that afterwards. Same way employer and employee are related persons. So any gift by employer to employee, gift up to rupees 50,000 in a financial year by an employer to employee shall not be treated as supply. So if any gift is given by employer and employee are related, this much is clear. Any gift given by employer to employee up to a value of 50,000, it is not a supply. More than 50,000, 50,000 रुपए तक का गिफ्ट अगर एम्प्लॉयर अपने एम्प्लॉय को देता है एक साल के अंदर इन वन फाइनेंशियल ईयर, then that will not be considered as supply. But if that gift is more than 50,000, then that is considered as supply. ओके. सो एम्प्लॉयर एम्प्लॉय रिलेटेड है बट उनके लिए एक स्पेशल एग्जाम्पशन आ गई. अब रिलेटेड है तो नॉर्मल क्लॉज में दे शुड फॉल कि अगर एम्प्लॉयर एम्प्लॉय को कुछ भी दे रहा है then that should be considered as supply. Any transaction between them, any supply between them should be considered as supply because employer and employee are related. But here it will not be, there is an exception which is provided to you that if any gift is given by employer, this is employer. So employer has given any gift to employee and value is, if it is up to rupees 50,000, then it is not a supply. If it is more than rupees 50,000, then it will become a supply. I hope this point is also clear to you all. Gift can be given multiple times, but it should be in one financial year, Mohan Raj. So in a single financial year, total value of gift should be up to rupees 50,000, then it is not a supply. If value exceeds rupees 50,000, then entire amount will become a supply. अगर मैंने 51,000 का भी gift दे दिया है, तो entire 51,000 will become a supply. This point we will do in schedule 3. So this point entirely we'll do in schedule 3. With this, we come to an end of para 2 also. We will take a 5 minutes break. In the meantime, I will see your queries also. And I will, after the break, 5 minutes break, we'll deal with para 3 of schedule 1. So I hope 5 minutes break will be sufficient to you all because I want to cover lot many concepts today. So Manish, break लगा दीजिए. Your queries I will answer in the chat box in the meantime. हाँ, break लगा दीजिए. Okay. Welcome back, students. So let us continue with the para 3 of schedule 1. First two paras we have done. Supply, permanent transfer or disposal of business assets made without consideration provided ITC has been taken on such business assets is a supply. Supply made between related persons or distinct persons. Supply of goods or supply of services without consideration but in course of furtherance of business is a supply. An exception is gift made by an employer to an employee up to rupees 50,000 in a single financial year. So if that gift is more than 50,000 rupees, then that will qualify as supply and entire amount will become subject to GST. Now we come to the next point, and that next point is okay. Anchal has asked for the WhatsApp group link, but that is being shared in the main chat, and copying is disallowed to you. Okay, Sadia, don't worry, Sadia. Okay, so गलती से लीव हो गया था. Currently जो CDS पोर्टल पे अवेलेबल है. You are asking about the CDS पोर्टल वाला point. Okay, okay. TDS पोर्टल पे जो अवेलेबल है सादिया वो अभी आई हैव टू चेक वेदर इट इज फॉर May 25 or May 26. If you are appearing for May 26, then a separate edition of books has come. That is the latest edition and that you should refer. Okay. Now we come to para 3 of schedule 1. Para 3 में principal agent relationship है. अब ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट और बड़े ध्यान से आपको सुननी है. In case any goods are supplied by a principal to an agent for making further supply, then that will be considered as supply even if it is made without consideration. इसको समझने के लिए हम एग्जांपल से ही समझेंगे क्योंकि ये अभी आपको सुनने से उतना समझ नहीं आएगा. पॉइंट जो इंपॉर्टेंट है फर्स्ट स्लाइड में वो ये है कि यहाँ पर इस पैरा 3 में सिर्फ गुड्स कवर हो रहे हैं. एंड सेकेंड इज दिस सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स शुड बी बिटवीन प्रिंसिपल एंड एजेंट विदाउट कंसिडरेशन. शेड्यूल 1 में है तो कंसिडरेशन तो नहीं होगा. दैट इज वेरी वेरी क्लियर. नाउ वी कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट एंड दैट इज so now the para principal agent relationship. Now in case of principal agent relationship, supply will become supply bid by principal to agent will become a supply without consideration. Before going to this slide, I will go to the next slide which shows you the okay actually that transaction I want to go to. सो वन इज सप्लाई मेड बाय प्रिंसिपल टू एजेंट. प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को कुछ गुड्स प्रोवाइड किए और एजेंट ने वो गुड्स आगे कस्टमर को दिए. दिस इज व्हाट इज एक्चुअली द ट्रांजेक्शन विच इज टेकिंग प्लेस. नाउ इन केस this agent, but for this particular, now here there are two transactions. One is between principal and agent and another is between agent and customer also. Principal has given goods to agent, agent has given goods to customers. Now, in case the principal has not charged anything, principal would not have any charge anything from agent because वो तो उसको goods simple handover कर देगा, बोलेगा आगे जाके बेच दो. But this transaction between principal and agent will become supply in case agent satisfies one condition. Now, what is that condition? We'll come back to that. That condition is invoice for the further supply made by agent to agent to customer is issued by agent in his own name. अगर वो invoice जो agent अपने customer को issue करने वाला है sale of goods के लिए, that invoice is in the name of the agent himself, then this will fall in para 3 of schedule 1. And as per para 3 of schedule 1, this transaction will become a supply. तो principal ने जो agent को goods दिए हैं वो भी supply बन जाएंगे. How will it be possible? Let us see the second transaction first. See, agent has issued an invoice in the name of agent. अपने नाम पे उसने इनवॉइस इशू की, प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इशू नहीं की. प्रिंसिपल ने उसे गुड्स दिए, बोला आगे बायर को बेच दो. उसने अपने नाम पर इनवॉइस इशू की बायर को. बायर नोज दैट दीज गुड्स बिलोंग टू प्रिंसिपल बट इनवॉइस इज इशूड बाय in the name of the agent. Then what will happen? प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को जो गुड्स थी वो डीम्ड सप्लाई बन जाएंगी. दो देयर वाज नो कंसिडरेशन हियर. प्रिंसिपल ने तो एजेंट को गुड्स ऐसे ही हैंड ओवर कर दिया था. बट दैट विल सो नो कंसिडरेशन इज देयर बट दैट विल बिकम अ डीम्ड सप्लाई. और एजेंट ने जो कस्टमर को इनवॉइस इशू की अपने नाम पर तो ये एक नॉर्मल सप्लाई बन जाएगा. सो देयर विल बी टू सेपरेट सप्लाईज हियर एंड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस सप्लाई इन पैरा 3. बट इसके लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कंडीशन क्या है कि एजेंट जो बायर को इनवॉइस इशू करेगा वो अपने नाम पे इशू करेगा, प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इशू नहीं करेगा. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू यू ऑल. सिंपल पॉइंट. ओके. So up now we come to the next point which I was discussing earlier. In case the invoice is issued, now there are 2-3 persons involved in this transaction, ये आपको पता है. जब भी प्रिंसिपल एजेंट और बायर की बात करेंगे तो एक प्रिंसिपल है, एक एजेंट है और एक बायर है. प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को गुड्स दिए और उसे बोला आगे उनको बायर को बेच देना. सिर्फ गुड्स की बात हो रही है, सर्विसेज की बात यहाँ नहीं होगी. Now agent has given agent has sold goods to buyer and agent has issued the invoice in the name of the principal. उसने invoice अपने नाम पे issue ही नहीं की, उसको वो invoice principal के नाम पे issue करता है. Because he might not have any GST and he's not supplying goods in his own name. Then this particular para will not be attracted. Why? So अगर इनवॉइस जो है वो अपनी प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इशू कर रहा है तो वहां पे दो सप्लाईज होंगी ही नहीं, वहां डीम्ड सप्लाई वाला कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि फिर वो एजेंट जो है वो पैरा 3 यानी जिसकी बात अभी हम कर रहे हैं वो उसमें फॉल नहीं करेगा. ही विल नॉट बी एन एजेंट एज पर पैरा 3. पैरा 3 में एजेंट बनना है तो अपने नाम पे इनवॉइस इशू करने की पड़ेगी, तभी आप पैरा 3 के एजेंट होंगे और तभी प्रिंसिपल ने जो आपको गुड्स दिए हैं वो भी एक सप्लाई बन जाएगा. नाउ हाउ दिस ट्रांजेक्शन विल बी टैक्स इन दैट केस? जो प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को दिया है वो तो सप्लाई नहीं होगा, सिर्फ जो फाइनल कस्टमर को जो गुड्स गए हैं वो प्रिंसिपल की ही सप्लाई होगी. दैट विल नॉट बी अ सप्लाई ऑफ एन एजेंट बिकॉज प्रिंसिपल इज इशूइंग द इनवॉइस. जो इनवॉइस इशू करता है उसी की सप्लाई होती है. देन दैट विल बी अ सप्लाई ऑफ प्रिंसिपल मेड टू अ कस्टमर. सी दिस ट्रांजेक्शन, एजेंट ने प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे बायर को इनवॉइस इशू करी है तो प्रिंसिपल की ही सप्लाई होगी वो बायर को. ठीक है. और जो प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को दिया वो कोई भी सप्लाई नहीं मानी जाएगी. देयर विल बी ओनली अ सिंगल सप्लाई इन दिस केस. हियर इट विल नॉट बी अ डीम्ड सप्लाई. ओके, आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. सिंपल पॉइंट है. इनवॉइस किसने इशू की है, जब भी प्रिंसिपल एजेंट की बात आएगी आपको पहले देखना इनवॉइस किसके नाम पे इशू हुई है. सो इनवॉइस इज इशूड बाय एजेंट इन द नेम ऑफ एजेंट. देन देयर विल बी टू सप्लाईज. One is between principal and agent, that is a deemed supply as per para 3, and one between agent and customer, that is a normal supply. Agent has issued invoice in his own name to the customer. बट हम जिस सप्लाई की बात कर रहे हैं वो यहाँ पे आ रही है. ये तो एक नॉर्मल सप्लाई है, इसकी बात हम अभी पैरा 3 में नहीं करें क्योंकि यहाँ तो कंसिडरेशन चार्ज हुई है, कस्टमर ने एजेंट को कंसिडरेशन दे दी और इनवॉइस इशू हो गई है. बट यहाँ पर ये वाली जो ट्रांजेक्शन है ये पैरा 3 में कवर हो जाएगी. आई होप दैट इज क्लियर. इसकी जो अदर वे ट्रांजेक्शन है, एजेंट सिर्फ गुड्स सेल करने के लिए ही नहीं अपॉइंट किया जाता. एजेंट गुड्स को कभी कभी प्रोक्योर करने के लिए, परचेज करने के लिए भी हम एजेंट रखते हैं. दैट इज अ सिंपल कमर्शियल बिजनेस प्रैक्टिस कि आप एक एजेंट रखते हो, आप बोलते हैं मुझे गुड्स सेल करने, यू हैव अ बेटर नेटवर्किंग, सो दीज आर माई गुड्स, यू सेल इट अक्रॉस इंडिया. दैट इज वन ट्रांजेक्शन विच वी हैव कवर्ड टिल नाउ. Another could be I want to procure raw material and I have appointed an agent who will be getting me cheap raw material or reasonable raw material from across India. There I have to, that will be a reverse transaction. अब उस रिवर्स ट्रांजेक्शन में क्या है, वहां पे भी फिर से इनवॉइस की बात आएगी. अगर पैरा 3 में एजेंट को फॉल करना है तो उसको इनवॉइस इशू करनी है, इनवॉइस रिसीव करनी है इन हिज ओन नेम. अब यहाँ पे उल्टा है. यहाँ पे क्या है कि जो इनवॉइस है वो एजेंट इशू नहीं करेगा क्योंकि इनवॉइस सप्लायर इशू करता है. यहाँ पर वो सर्विस वो सप्लाईज गुड्स रिसीव कर रहा है एजेंट, तो अगर वो गुड्स को रिसीव करते टाइम जो इनवॉइस इशू होगी वो एजेंट के नाम पे इशू होनी चाहिए, प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इशू नहीं होनी चाहिए. देन इट विल फॉल इन पैरा 3. Let us see a transaction here. I am seeing your queries. Don't worry. Let us complete this. Then I will take your queries. Again, there are 3 persons involved: principal, agent और supplier. एजेंट वो जो अब सप्लायर यहाँ पे ये सप्लायर है, अब ये एजेंट बायर नहीं है. सप्लायर हैज गिवन गुड्स टू एजेंट एंड सप्लायर हैज इशूड द इनवॉइस इन द नेम ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल. क्योंकि प्रिंसिपल एजेंट ट्रांजेक्शन में सप्लायर इज ऑल, सप्लायर और बायर वट एवर इट इज, ही इज अवेयर दैट दीज गुड्स बिलोंग टू दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रिंसिपल. सो ही हैज इशूड द इनवॉइस इन द नेम ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल. जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से he has issued, supplier has issued the invoice in the name of the principal and not in the name of the agent. If he has done this, then para 3 will not be attracted and then there will be single supply. Let us see how it will be. So this is not a supply under para 3. How? Supplier has given goods, supplier has given goods to agent, but he has not issued any invoice in the name of agent. So there will be only one supply between सप्लायर टू प्रिंसिपल. सप्लायर ने प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इनवॉइस इशू की और एक ही सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन होगी बिटवीन सप्लायर टू प्रिंसिपल. देयर विल बी नो सप्लाई बिटवीन एजेंट टू प्रिंसिपल क्योंकि यहाँ पे कंसिडरेशन नहीं थी. और यहाँ पे कंसिडरेशन नहीं है, तो ये सप्लाई तभी बनेगा जब पैरा 3 अट्रैक्ट होगा। पैरा 3 कब अट्रैक्ट होगा? जब जो सप्लायर ने इनवॉइस इशू की है, that is in the name of the agent. Now here in our question, in our case, the supplier has issued the invoice in the name of the principal. This is a vice versa case. एक है agent ने goods आगे supply किए. Second case is agent has procured the goods. Agent has purchased the goods for the principal. So this is the second case. Same है principal, बस एक same provision है. We are doing it other way around. एक purchase के केस में कर रहे हैं, एक sale के केस में हम कर रहे हैं. So supply of goods by agent to principal will not be a supply. यहाँ पे क्योंकि consideration नहीं थी और पैरा 3 में ये cover नहीं हो रहा. There will be only single supply. Next case is agent and supplier. Now again supplier has made the supplied the goods to agent, given goods to agent, handed over the goods to agent, I would say, but he has issued the invoice this time in the name of the agent. So this will be a case which will be covered in para 3 of schedule 1. And again, there will be two supplies. How there will be two supplies? First supply between supplier and agent, because here there is consideration. Supplier ने consideration agent से ले ली होगी. Agent would have given consideration and he would have got the goods. So this is a normal supply. But in this case, agent और principal की जो supply है, उसमें consideration absent है. Goods are there, but consideration is not present. Supply agent ने वो goods आगे principal को दे दिए, but consideration नहीं है. लेकिन since it is falling in para 3, so there will be two supplies. This supply will be a deemed supply under para 3 of schedule 1. You by the time you grasp this concept, you retain this concept. Let me take your queries. Agent will get charged nominal amount for the agency. Agency, wo SIPA which you are talking about, that is an agency commission. That for that he will charge a commission, agency commission. Now that commission is not for supply of goods. यहाँ पर जो transaction की हम बात, ये जो deemed supply की हम बात कर रहे हैं, this deemed supply is when agent is transferring goods to principal, and he is not principal is not giving any consideration for that. Consideration is being given by the supplier. So this transaction is only with respect to goods. No consideration is involved. Agent ने principal से कोई sorry, agent has not given taken any consideration from principal for supply of these goods. यहाँ पर ये वाली transaction missing है. जो goods की जो उनमें exchange हो रहा है principal और agent में, the exchange of goods that is being taxed in para 3. Agency commission तो agent को मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. Agency commission will be taken by the agent. That is a separate transaction. Okay. Agent Meenu is saying two supply hoga deemed and normal. Yes, if agent issues invoice in his own name. Absolutely correct. And if it's name of the principal, it is a single supply. Very good, Meenu. Mohan Raj, will the meaning of terms used here carry the same defined under Sales of Goods Act? Agent, yes, it carries the same. I have to see that, but CGST Act also defines agent. Agent में auctioneer or by whatever name called, जो any goods which are sold on behalf of the principal, any person who is selling the goods on behalf of another person. So उसमें factor भी है, auctioneer भी है, agent by agent, whatever name called, that should be he is selling the goods on behalf of another person और ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ प्रिंसिपल, दैट इज एन एजेंट. बट यहाँ पर जो एजेंट पैरा 3 में है, उसको इनवॉइस अपने नाम पर या तो इशू करनी है या उसे रिसीव करनी है, देन ओनली ही विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज एन एजेंट, एंड देन ओनली सप्लाई बिटवीन हिम एंड प्रिंसिपल, दो इट इज विदाउट कंसिडरेशन, दैट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज अ सप्लाई अंडर जीएसटी लॉ. ये जो सप्लाई प्रिंसिपल और एजेंट के बीच में हो रही है, क्यों हो रही है? एजेंट को अगर अपने गुड्स आगे सेल कराने हैं, तो वो गुड्स उठा के पहले एक बार एजेंट को हैंड ओवर करेगा एंड देन एजेंट विल फर्दर सेल देम. तो यहाँ दो बार गुड्स का एक्सचेंज हुआ, पहले प्रिंसिपल से एजेंट और फिर एजेंट से आगे सप्लायर को, कस्टमर को. जो प्रिंसिपल से एजेंट को सप्लाई गुड्स ट्रांसफर हुए, वो ट्रांजेक्शन हम पैरा 3 में कवर करते हैं, क्योंकि वहां पर कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं चार्ज हुई, सिर्फ गुड्स का हैंड ओवर हुआ. सेकेंड लेग ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शन हैज अ सप्लाई, इज नॉर्मल सप्लाई बिकॉज वहां कंसिडरेशन भी है. Same way, otherwise, other way around. If goods have been purchased by agent, so agent has purchased the goods from the supplier, that is a normal supply transaction. But when he hands over these goods to principal, then he is not charging any consideration, and that is why we have to deem it as supply. इसीलिए एक separate transaction है ये. So I hope that clears your doubt. That and हाँ, Mohan Raj, I hope your doubt is cleared. So agency, yes, agency commission is a consideration side part, but that is a normal transaction. agent has provided agency services to the principal, and principal has given agency commission to the agent. So that transaction is not at all a para 3 transaction, that is a normal supply transaction. तो अगर मैं इसी transaction में आपसे बात करूं, the previous transaction, that would be easy one to take. If I take this transaction here, okay, if this is the transaction, now here what type of transactions are being covered, actually one is the supply. Principal has given goods to agent to sell it to final customer, and agent has sold them to customer. Since agent has issued invoice in his own name, therefore this supply is normal and this supply has become the deemed service. This supply will always be taxed, but this supply will only be there when para 3 is attracted. Now one more, so this, he has given goods, but he has not given any consideration for that. This is for the goods purpose. Now second thing is, agent is providing the principal and agent. So agent is providing the agency services to principal, and in return principal is providing commission. This is a separate transaction between principal and agent. This is not this transaction. So principal is providing commission to agent, agent is giving agency services. This is a normal supply. यहाँ पे consideration भी है, business भी है, services भी हैं. So this is a normal supply. इसीलिए हमने इसकी बात यहाँ पे नहीं की है. This is a separate transaction. But इसके साथ साथ, क्योंकि ये separate, ये normal supply है, इसकी schedule 1 में बात नहीं होगी. ये आपकी डीम्ड सप्लाई है, बिकॉज यहाँ पर कंसिडरेशन नहीं है, इसीलिए हमने इसको सेपरेटली डील किया है यहाँ पे. Okay, Sadia is saying, Sadia, regarding books, we'll deal tomorrow. Let me first, and you can contact the CDS portal also. Principal gives goods to agent and agent sold as an own name under para 3, but money not given. Exactly, this was the concept, Meenu. So good, you have understood it. Let us see the other students' doubts. Can we carry forward? Arun Sagar, will not discuss any query regarding ITC. You can carry forward ITC, but please restrict to the topic which we are discussing. Only arrow change, not the concept. Very good, Golti. So concept is that invoice should be issued in the name of the principal, or agent should issue invoice in his own name. Invoice किसके नाम पे होनी चाहिए? एजेंट के नाम पे. तो वो पैरा 3 में आएगा, तो उस सप्लाई बनेगी, डीम्ड सप्लाई होगी. अगर प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इनवॉइस है तो पैरा 3 नहीं होगा, डीम्ड सप्लाई नहीं होगी. So you have exactly understood the right concept, Golti. Okay. Now we come to we'll take some examples, but we'll not take all the examples, just to understand the concept. Anmol appoints Bholu to procure certain goods from the market. Now this is the second case. He's not giving him goods to sell. He's asking him to get some goods from the market. Now Bholu identifies various suppliers, and he identifies one of the supplier as Golu. He said कि मैं Anmol. So Anmol has asked the Bholu to get the goods from the market. Bholu identifies Golu as one of the suppliers कि गोलू का reasonable rates है, गोलू से हम goods ले लेते हैं. अब Golu has issued the invoice in the name of the principal. See, Golu has issued the invoice in the name of the principal. That means in the name of Anmol he has issued the invoice. So therefore it is not a para 3 supply. Sorry, para 3 will not be attracted here. This agent Bholu is not actually a para 3 agent, and therefore this supply, okay, I will take your doubt, Anil. If you can repeat that doubt in the chat box again, because I think you might have exit the chat and your chat is not coming here. So you just once again put your doubt, Kulti. So this is the point here, that since the invoice has been issued by the supplier in the name of the principal, so para 3 will not be attracted, and therefore whatever goods Bholu will give to Anmol, because Golu will give goods to Bholu and Bholu will give the goods to Anmol. So this particular transaction will not be a supply. Only single transaction will be there from Golu to Anmol. This is the crux of para 3 of schedule 1. Other examples are there. We will deal them, but let us move to in fact, we had a concept of del creditor agent also. But before that, let us come to para 4 of schedule 1. Then we'll come to del creditor agent again. Don't worry, we'll discuss that. वेदांत, हम ये बात कर रहे हैं कि अगर एजेंट ने प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को गुड्स दिए आगे बेचने के लिए, या प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट से कहा कुछ गुड्स खरीद के ले आओ मेरे बिहाफ पे। इन दोनों केसेस में जो प्रिंसिपल और एजेंट के बीच में गुड्स की ट्रांजैक्शन हो रही है, वहां पर कोई भी कंसिडरेशन इन्वॉल्व नहीं है। मैंने आपको बोला मेरे बिहाफ पे गुड्स खरीद लाओ, या मेरे गुड्स आगे मेरे बिहाफ पे बेच दो। दोनों ट्रांजेक्शन्स के अंदर प्रिंसिपल और एजेंट के बीच में कोई पैसों का लेन देन, मतलब वो प्रिंसिपल से जब मैंने गुड्स लिए एज एन एजेंट तो मैंने कोई पैसे नहीं दिए। हाँ, जब मैंने फाइनल बायर को सामान बेचा और उससे जो कंसिडरेशन मिली वो मैंने प्रिंसिपल को वापस कर दी, बट जब गुड्स प्रिंसिपल ने मुझे दिए तब मैंने कोई कंसिडरेशन उसे नहीं दी। सिमिलरली जब मैंने बाहर से गुड्स प्रोक्योर किए तो मैंने बायर को पैसे दे दिए, सेलर सप्लायर को पैसे दे दिए, बट जब मैंने वो गुड्स प्रिंसिपल को आगे दिए तो मैंने प्रिंसिपल से सिर्फ वो कंसिडरेशन ली जो मुझे आगे सप्लायर को देनी थी, अदरवाइज कोई एक्सचेंज कंसिडरेशन का नहीं हुआ। ठीक है, तो ये जो प्रिंसिपल और एजेंट के बीच में जो वो कोई सप्लाई नहीं थी एज सच उसके बीच में, प्रिंसिपल और एजेंट के बीच में, बट हमने इसको पैरा 3 के हिसाब से सप्लाई मान लिया। लेकिन उसके लिए एक कंडीशन फुलफिल होनी चाहिए कि ये जो इनवॉइस इशू हो रही है इस पूरे ट्रांजेक्शन में, चाहे वो इनवर्ट्स मतलब परचेज हो रही हो या सेल हो रहा हो ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ प्रिंसिपल, उस पूरी ट्रांजेक्शन में जो इनवॉइस है दैट शुड बी इशूड इन द नेम ऑफ द एजेंट। अगर इनवॉइस हमारी प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इशू हो रही है तो हम एक नॉर्मल ट्रांजेक्शन मानेंगे, प्रिंसिपल और फाइनल कंज्यूमर या फाइनल जो सप्लायर है उसके बीच में ट्रांजेक्शन हो रही है, एजेंट फिर कहीं पिक्चर में नहीं आएगा। यानी जो ट्रांजेक्शन प्रिंसिपल और एजेंट के बीच में हो रही है वो सिर्फ जो हमने अभी किया कि एजेंसी कमीशन वाली ट्रांजेक्शन, गुड्स की कोई ट्रांजेक्शन उनके बीच में सप्लाई नहीं बनेगी। दैट इज द मेन कॉन्सेप्ट। One guy is manufacturing products, other is utilizing for another business. Will it be considered as business because he has different registrations in the same state and same pan? So if he is manufacturing products and he is utilizing, yes, if they have in the same Golti, if they have different registrations within the same state, then that will become supply. अगर एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोडक्ट के लिए एक रजिस्ट्रेशन है और जहां पे वो आप यूज कर रहे हो वहां पे डिफरेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन है, और वो आपने गुड्स जो मैन्युफैक्चर किए वो अपने डिफरेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन में आपने सप्लाई कर दिए, then that becomes supply even if consideration is not charged. वो para 2 में cover हो जाएगा. Okay, Vedant. Not lie in para 3. Correct meaning. Okay, Mustafa, you also understood. Session will Mohan Raj till 9 o'clock only. I know I have to extend the session on a daily basis because I don't want to leave any queries unanswered. I try to answer every query. Okay, Krishna is more worried about ITC, but it is the supply class. ITC is way behind. You can cover it. Don't worry. You will be able to understand that. Harsh, who told me that point? I don't remember. Whatever. Somebody is very worried about ITC, so don't worry about ITC. It's the 7th chapter, I suppose, 7th or 8th chapter. So you can cover it afterwards. That is not an issue. Now we come to para 4 of importation of services. Para 4 says import of services by a person. Now here you have to remember that consideration is not there. Consideration is not there. Import of services by a person from a related person or from his establishments located outside India. So either the services have been imported by a related person, have been imported by one person from his related person or from any of his establishments outside India. मैंने कुछ सर्विसेज इंपोर्ट की अपनी किसी एस्टेब्लिशमेंट से बाहर, या फिर मैंने अपनी किसी रिलेटेड पर्सन से, मेरा रिलेटेड पर्सन आउटसाइड इंडिया है, मेरी कोई रिलेटेड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया है, इफ आई हैव इंपोर्टेड सर्विसेज फ्रॉम देम related, then even if it is without consideration but it is in course or furtherance of business, that will be considered as supply. तो यहाँ पर consideration वाला test absent है, but business test तो obviously that will be present. Point is import of services from related person outside India. Import है तो outside India ही होगा, बाहर से ही आप ले रहे होंगे, आपका सर्विस प्रोवाइडर बाहर ही होगा। यहाँ पे पहली बात सिर्फ सर्विसेज कवर हो रही है, ओनली सर्विसेज आर बीइंग कवर्ड हियर. Then services are being received from a related person or from his establishment outside India. Okay. Now import of services. So from a person related, for example, person here in India is located and he is receiving services from his overseas establishment. ABC and Associates is getting services from ABC Inc. USA. So then that will be import of services. He is providing services to person in India, but no consideration is being charged. It is in course or furtherance of business. So that will become a supply. Let us see an example so that we can get it clear. Jumru Associates received legal consultancy services from its head office in Malaysia. Jumru Associates का जो head office है वो मलेशिया में है. The head office has rendered such consultancy services free of cost to its branch office. Now they have not taken any consideration from Jumru Associates, but they have simply provided them the legal consultancy services. Malaysian head office had provided them legal consultancy services. Now, since Jumru Associates and head office are related person, services rendered by Jumru Associates, sorry, received by, that's what I was thinking. Services received by Jumru Associates will qualify as supply, even though head office has not charged anything. मलेशियन हेड ऑफिस ने लीगल कंसल्टेंसी सर्विसेज जुमरू एसोसिएट्स को दी. ये उसका हेड ऑफिस था, यहाँ ब्रांच थी या यहाँ पे उसका एसोसिएटेड एंटरप्राइज थी. सो उन्होंने उसको लीगल कंसल्टेंसी सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड की और बदले में कोई कंसिडरेशन चार्ज नहीं की. बट क्योंकि ये रिलेटेड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट थी, उसकी import of services का केस था, and it is in course or furtherance of business. Now these services have been received by Jumru Associates in course or furtherance of business. Therefore, it qualifies as supply under para 4. Okay, I hope this point is clear to you all. Let us see one more example. Chakmak, a proprietor registered in Delhi, has sought architect services from his son located in US with respect to his newly constructed house in Delhi. हमने क्या सीखा था कि इस क्लॉज के अंदर देयर शुड बी इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज. इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज शुड बी फ्रॉम द रिलेटेड पर्संस और रिलेटेड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट्स आउटसाइड इंडिया in course or furtherance of business without consideration. So these 4 points are there. यहाँ पे import of services है from his son related person है. अभी we'll do the definition tomorrow in detail. Plus import of services भी है, related person outside India है, consideration नहीं है. He has not charged anything. So this is given. Services have been provided have been received without consideration from his son, who is a related person. But here it will not be a supply. Why? Because he has received these services with respect to his newly constructed house. अपने घर के लिए उसने, though Chakmak is a proprietor, but the services which he has imported without consideration. Now see, this is without consideration, so it cannot be without business test. दोनों में से एक टेस्ट होना बहुत जरूरी है. या तो consideration है तो business test relax होगा, but अगर consideration नहीं है तो business test qualify करना बहुत जरूरी है. In that case, it has to be in course or furtherance of business. So here, Chakmak has to receive the architect services for his business purpose. Now he is receiving for his personal residence. So in this case, it will not be a supply. दो examples हमने किए, एक में business test qualify हो रहा था, consideration नहीं थी. Then we said it is a supply, but where consideration was not there, business test was also not qualified, it cannot be considered as supply in case of import of services. We have this chart which summarizes the supply transactions with regard to import of services. With consideration होगा तो क्या होगा, without consideration होगा तो क्या होगा. Just have a glance at it and I will take your queries. So those who don't have any queries, just have a glance at it and read it once. Arun Sagar is saying, ma'am, a supplier issued an invoice in the name of principal as well as agent name. No, this is not possible, Arun. He can issue invoice only in one person's name because that person has to take the credit also. So GST में ऐसी invoice issue नहीं हो सकती कि दोनों का नाम आपने डाल दिया, खुश कर दिया दोनों को, चलो दोनों खुश रहो, दोनों का नाम डाल दिया, लड़ो मत. नहीं, वो point नहीं है. Only one person's name can be there and that will decide the taxability of supply between agent and principal. Thank you, Vedant. Sometimes I feel that you students might get tired because of these sessions. I have to stretch it every time. But only point is I want to take all queries also and I want to clear each and every point in every clause, every section which we are discussing. So thanks for bearing with me, Vedant. Headquarter is outside India, branch is in India, import of service. Yes, it will lie in, it will be in para 4. Champak Lal's sons is Jetha Lal. Meenu has gone to Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma. So what if son has constructed how construction related work? Yes, whatever services son is providing to his father, if it is in course or furtherance of business, if father is using for business purpose, it is a supply. If father is not using it for business, had it been office construction service, then it would have been qualified as supply. Office architect services, it would have qualified Meenu. So, Sangeeta, yes, you have understood this point. Mohan Raj is saying if consideration is guaranteed by agent for principal, is guaranteed by agent for principal. In this case, consideration not received by the principal. This case we are doing, Mohan Raj, that del creditor agent I think you are talking about, we'll do it. Okay, so everyone of all of you have got this point. This is the summary chart which I have for import of services. Just go through it. I will be uploading the notes also. You can go through it afterwards. And let us come to the del creditor agent. जल्दी से del creditor agent का point cover करते हैं, and then we'll have quick some of the clauses of schedule 2 also. Okay. Now, del creditor agent. So, first of all, who is a del creditor agent? Agent तो हमने समझा, agent sells the goods or procures the goods on behalf of the principal. Principal के behalf पर agent कुछ काम करता है. Agent agency principal relationship आप सबने फाउंडेशन में वैसे अच्छे से पढ़ी थी, तो I hope you are not finding it difficult. Thank you, Harsh. Thank you so much that you don't get bored in my class. So, del creditor agent ने का क्या है? He acts as a commission agent. He but he has one additional feature. ये तो सभी करते हैं कि सारे एजेंट्स का काम होता है कमीशन लो और आगे गुड्स उसके नाम पे बेचो या उसके बिहाफ पे गुड्स खरीदो. एडिशनल फीचर इज ही गारंटीज पेमेंट फ्रॉम द बायर. अगर बायर ने पेमेंट नहीं दी तो वो प्रिंसिपल को ये गारंटी करता है कि आई विल गिव यू द पेमेंट. तो जो कस्टमर अगर कभी डिफॉल्ट कर जाता है तो वो रिस्क कौन बियर करेगा? वो डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट बियर करेगा. अब नाउ डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट क्या करता है उसके लिए वो वी हैव टू सी आफ्टरवर्ड्स, बट अभी इतना जानना जरूरी है कि डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट गारंटीज payment to principal for whatever goods he has sold. Now he has sold some goods, and then so for that payment has to be received. Now if the buyer does not makes the payment, del creditor agent has assured I will make the payment, don't worry. How he gets it from buyer, that also we'll see. But in this case certain issues were there, so for that we had a clarification, we had a circular. This circular was divided into two parts. क्योंकि जब भी हम एजेंट की बात करते हैं हम दो चीजें देखते हैं. पहला, वो एजेंट पैरा 3 में है या वो एजेंट पैरा 3 के हिसाब से एजेंट है या नहीं है. दोनों चीजें हमें देखनी है. वो हम कैसे देखते हैं? इनवॉइस के हिसाब से. इनवॉइस इशूड इन द नेम ऑफ एजेंट, ही इज अ पैरा 3 एजेंट. इनवॉइस नॉट इशूड इन द नेम ऑफ एजेंट, इनवॉइस इशूड इन द नेम ऑफ प्रिंसिपल, ही इज अ ही इज नॉट एन एजेंट एज पर पैरा 3. अगर प्रिंसिपल के नाम पे इनवॉइस है तो वो पैरा 3 का एजेंट नहीं है. टाइम एंड अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, आई होप नाउ इट इज मेमोराइज्ड टू यू ऑल. सो फर्स्ट केस हम जो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं वो ये है कि जब वो डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट पैरा 3 का एजेंट नहीं है, दैट मींस इनवॉइस इज बीइंग इशूड इन द नेम ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल. Just let us quickly recall what we had done. In case he is not a para 3 agent, then what used to happen? Then in that case, uh, there is only one single supply by the principal to the ultimate consumer. एक सप्लाई होती थी जब पैरा 3 नहीं अट्रैक्ट हो रहा, जब एजेंट इज नॉट अ पैरा 3 एजेंट, देन इन दैट केस देयर इज ओनली वन सप्लाई. इन अ सिंगल, in a simple case, in a normal case, there used to be one supply by principal to agent. Okay, but here there is not, there are multiple transactions involved. Now how the del creditor agent makes his buyer make the payment, because he is making payment on behalf of the buyer. Now it is, he is not doing any charity. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि del creditor agent सारा रिस्क लेके इंश्योरेंस, he is not giving an insurance to the principal. वो अपने बायर को एक शॉर्ट टर्म लोन एक्सटेंड कर देता है. ही फील्स कि बायर के पास अभी पैसा नहीं है, ही विल गेट इट इन द नेक्स्ट क्रेडिट साइकिल, सो ही एक्सटेंड्स अ शॉर्ट टर्म लोन टू दैट पर्टिकुलर बायर कि आप मुझसे लोन ले लो, आप मुझे नेक्स्ट मंथ पे कर देना, अभी इस मंथ में अपने प्रिंसिपल को पे कर देता हूँ. So because of that, what transactions are taking place between the buyer, principal and agent? पहला ट्रांजेक्शन, सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स फ्रॉम सप्लायर टू रिसिपिएंट. क्यों यहाँ पर एक सप्लाई हो रही है सप्लायर टू रिसिपिएंट? बिकॉज इन अर्लियर स्लाइड्स ऑल्सो वी हैड सीन when para 3 agent is not an agent as per para 3, then there is a single supply made by principal to consumer. So here also principal is making supply to final consumer. There is no supply between principal and agent, only one supply between principal to consumer. That is one point. Second is again simple transaction. Agent is providing agency services to principal, principal is giving him commission. So agency services to principal. Here recipient is given because that is in case of the supplier. That is in case of the other way around. So in case that is also possible that recipient who is receiving the services, now he is supplier or recipient, in both the cases this supplier या recipient हम बोल रहे हैं, वो हम दोनों तरह की transactions cover कर रहे हैं, procurement of goods also as well as the supply of goods on behalf of the principal. So this supplier or recipient will anyhow be the principal. So agency services वो principal को दे रहा है, प्रिंसिपल फाइनल कंज्यूमर को गुड्स सप्लाई कर रहा है, एंड द थर्ड वन इज, और ही इज रिसीविंग सप्लाई फ्रॉम द फाइनल सप्लायर. थर्ड इज सप्लाई और एक्सटेंशन ऑफ लोन सर्विसेज. थर्ड है हमारा लोन सर्विसेज, जो हमारा एजेंट रिसिपिएंट को दे रहा है. डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट यानी जो फाइनल कंज्यूमर को वो लोन दे रहा है. And this will attract only when agent supply this consumer is not able to pay to the agent. अगर कंज्यूमर एजेंट को पेमेंट नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो एजेंट ने तो अपने बिहाफ पे पेमेंट, उसके बिहाफ पे पेमेंट आगे कर दी है. अब उसको सिर्फ उससे वो लोन के, उसको आगे सिर्फ अपने रिसिपिएंट से वो अमाउंट रिकवर करना है. उसके लिए वो उसको एक लोन देगा. उस लोन के बदले ऑब्वियसली उसको इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. तो वो थर्ड ट्रांजेक्शन है. तो देर आर थ्री ट्रांजेक्शंस. नाउ हाउ दीज थ्री ट्रांजेक्शंस विल बी टैक्स्ड. First, now this one is a normal supply, as we had discussed in our earlier slides also. जो प्रिंसिपल फाइनल कंज्यूमर को जो गुड्स सप्लाई कर रहा है, क्योंकि यहाँ पर एजेंट इज नॉट अ पैरा 3 एजेंट, तो एजेंट की सप्लाई जो है वो कोई सप्लाई नहीं मानी जाती. ओनली वन सिंगल सप्लाई, दैट इज अ नॉर्मल सप्लाई बिटवीन प्रिंसिपल टू कंज्यूमर, वो तो नॉर्मली टैक्स हो जाएगी. Second is agency services given by agent to principal, for which principal would have given the consideration. This is also a normal supply. No issue in that. Third, services which are specifically in case of del creditor agent is extension of loan services, for which recipient will be giving interest. Now, this is also a normal supply, but clarification has been issued that this will also be one of the supplies. Now, let us see. Okay. And as you proceed further in GST law, you will see that this particular service is exempt. But right now, we do not want to go into much detail in it. This is the third supply which will be there. That is, extension of loan services will be provided by del creditor agent to recipient, and recipient will give him the interest. यानी जब del creditor agent उसको लोन एक्सटेंड करेगा, उसको लोन दे देगा कि ठीक है आप ये मुझे अगले महीने दे देना ये पैसे, तो वो कुछ इंटरेस्ट भी चार्ज करेगा. तो ये एक नॉर्मल सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन हो गई. कंसिडरेशन भी है, बिजनेस टेस्ट भी है, सर्विस भी है. तो एक नॉर्मल सप्लाई ट्रांजेक्शन होगी. तो इस केस में जहां पर डीसीए इज नॉट एन एजेंट एज पर पैरा 3, देन देयर विल बी थ्री सप्लाईज. प्रिंसिपल से कंज्यूमर को होगी नॉर्मल सप्लाई, जो हम पहले भी पढ़ते आ रहे थे. ये भी नॉर्मल सप्लाई है. जो ये दोनों सप्लाईज तो अगर डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट है या नहीं है तब भी होंगी. ट्रांजेक्शन 1 एंड ट्रांजेक्शन 2 विल बी देयर whether he is a del creditor agent or he is a normal agent. Agency services पहले भी टैक्स होती थी. Why we did not discuss it? Because we want to focus only on the goods. वहीं पे डीम्ड सप्लाई का पॉइंट आता था. सो दिस इज अ नॉर्मल सप्लाई. अगेन दिस इज एन एडिशनल सप्लाई विच इज इन्वॉल्व हियर, एंड दिस is a supply of loan services by agent to recipient, in lieu of which he is getting an interest. So I hope that clears the point of del creditor agent not being an agent as per para 3. In case del creditor agent is an agent as per para 3, तो पहले हम खुद ही समझते हैं कि लॉजिकली क्या डिफरेंस आएगा. अब यहाँ पर बीच में आपका डेल क्रेडिटर एजेंट यहाँ पे भी आ जाएगा. यहाँ पर एजेंट का एक ट्रांजेक्शन ऐड हो जाता था. प्रिंसिपल ने जो एजेंट को दिया और एजेंट ने जो आगे कंज्यूमर को दिया, ये एक नॉर्मल सप्लाई होती थी. और ये जो है, लेट मी रिमूव इट, सॉरी वेयर डिड वी गो. ये जो सप्लाई है ये एक नॉर्मल सप्लाई थी और ये एक डीम्ड सप्लाई बन जाती थी. तो ये एक ट्रांजेक्शन ऐड हो जाएगी, बाकी ट्रांजेक्शन सेम रहेंगे. नाउ वी हैव टू सी हाउ इट विल बी डन. So there will be 4 transactions now, or 4 supplies will be there. If DCA is an agent as per para 3, that means DCA is issuing an invoice in his own name to the customer. So first is supply of goods by principal to agent, then by agent to final consumer. Principal ने agent को दिया, agent ने consumer को दिया. फिर हमने agency services की बात की. agency services पहले भी थी. And third is loan extension services, that was there in the previous slide also. So this is the change which has happened because of DCA being an agent as per para 3. Now let us see how it will be taxed. So अब ये DCA यहाँ ऊपर आ गया जैसे कि हमने पहले बात की थी, और ये एक डीम्ड सप्लाई बन गई. दिस इज द डीम्ड सप्लाई विच हैज कम इनटू पिक्चर. दिस इज पैरा 3 ट्रांजेक्शन. दिस इज अ नॉर्मल सप्लाई बिकॉज हियर कंसिडरेशन इज देयर, एंड दिस इज अ नॉर्मल सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स क्योंकि गुड्स सप्लाई कर रहे हैं हम. एजेंसी सर्विस इज अगेन अ नॉर्मल सप्लाई. वी न्यू दैट दिस विल बी देयर. और ये एक्सटेंशन ऑफ लोन सर्विस की तो हमने पहले भी बात की थी. I hope till this point you don't have any doubt, because I have to add one point here. Let me see your doubts and see this again. Let me repeat. In case del creditor agent is an agent as per para 3, in that case, the goods will be supply. There will be only one transaction that will be added, and that is a deemed supply by principal to the agent, which was not there in the previous slide. Agent was not here because there is only one supply by principal to final consumer. Now here the supply of goods by principal to agent will be deemed supply, and agent to consumer will be a normal supply. Agency services will be simply taxed in the similar manner, and loan extension services will also be there as it was there in the previous slide. Now let me see your doubts and then I will tell you the point. Somebody is asking for the quiz. Sorry, today there will be no quiz, but tomorrow we will be having a quiz. So will del credit agent charge more? Yes, definitely, Saipat. He will charge more commission. Del credit is like a surety guarantee. Yes. For May 2026 exam, after your class, ma'am, I'm understanding all concepts. So I have to read study. Yes, you have to study the study material, Mustafa. It's good that you are understanding all the concepts in the class and you are able to grasp them, but do refer study material. This is my study plan will remain the same. After the class, go through the notes as well as go through the study material and come prepared in the next class. Have a glance of the topics which we are going to discuss. In case of deemed supply, there is no invoice in the name of the agent. In case of deemed supply, Kuldeep, it is other way around. Invoice has to be issued in the name of the agent. That means if you are receiving from the supplier. सप्लायर अगर इनवॉइस इशू कर रहा है तो वो एजेंट के नाम पे इशू करेगा. एजेंट अगर इनवॉइस इशू कर रहा है तो सप्लायर के नाम पे इशू एजेंट अगर इशू कर रहा है इनवॉइस तो वो अपने नाम पे मतलब वो खुद सप्लायर होगा उस केस में. सो ही विल बी इशूइंग एन इनवॉइस विद हिज यूजिंग हिज ओन जीएसटीएन बिकॉज सप्लायर हैज टू यूज हिज जीएसटीएन. दो पार्टीज होती हैं किसी भी इनवॉइस में, रिसिपेंट एंड सप्लायर. सो इफ agent is supplying goods to buyer, so agent has to use his GSTN, agent has to use his name for issuing invoice. He is the supplier. सप्लायर के कॉलम में एजेंट अपना नाम लिखेगा अगर उसे आगे गुड्स सप्लाई करने. नाउ कंसिडर द डिफरेंस अदर वे अराउंड. ही इज रिसीविंग द गुड्स फ्रॉम द सप्लायर. So supplier will place his name in supplier's column, but in recipient he will place agent's name, not principal. मतलब invoice में principal का नाम नहीं आएगा. एजेंट्स जीएसटीएन मतलब एजेंट का जीएसटी आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर, एजेंट का रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर. जब हम, क्योंकि जीएसटी में आइडेंटिफिकेशन आपके नाम का मतलब जीएसटी नंबर ही होता है. जब मैं आपके नाम की बात कर रही हूँ तो वो जीएसटी नंबर की बात हो रही है. ठीक है श्रद्धा. ओके, यू गॉट दैट पॉइंट विच यू आर टॉकिंग. डीसीए हु इज द प्रिंसिपल, तो प्रिंसिपल तो वही रहेगा जो है. You can use January 26 module to for the timing, Mohan Raj, you can use. That is not an issue, but study material is uploaded on the website. Saipa is saying how to remember all these details. Saipa, if I can get some memory techniques for these also, I will let you know. Don't worry. Okay, Kuldeep has noted this point. Now, this transaction I hope is clear to you all. Only the point which I had to add was that these two supplies are one composite supply. ये दोनों एक single supply बन जाते हैं. जो देखिए, क्योंकि जो आपका एजेंट है, एजेंट इज सप्लाइंग गुड्स टू कस्टमर, एजेंट इज गिविंग लोन टू कस्टमर. एजेंट इज गिविंग two supplies to customer. One is goods, another is loan. So that will become one supply, that will get clubbed in the nature of one supply, and it will have the nature of supply of goods. जब आप composite supply का concept पढ़ लोगे तो आप इसको ज्यादा अच्छे से कर पाओगे. So that will be supply of goods and this will be clubbed. So this will not be separately taxed. ये और ये mix करके, suppose goods 100 rupees के थे और आपने जो loan extend किया वो भी almost 100 ही किया होगा. Maybe he is able to pay 50 and he has to give loan for 50 rupees. So जो interest है, suppose the value will be only interest. So he has taken 5 rupees interest and that will become, consideration will be 105. So interest plus value of goods will become one supply. I hope this is clear to you all. With this, we come to an end of schedule 1. Only related persons definition is left. We'll be doing it. And quickly, let us do these two clarifications, but you will be understanding these clarifications better once you do the composite and mixed supply concept. Buy one, get one free is not an individual, or we'll do it after composite and mixed supply only. That would be better. We can take it afterwards. Let us get an idea of schedule 2 quickly. It's 8:55, 54 itself. So almost 3 hours we have spent. So let us quickly go through schedule 2 and we will be dealing schedule 2 and schedule 3 tomorrow. Okay, so that should be understood it. Now schedule 2. Once a supply, so we had done 3 parameters. Consideration business supply of goods or services. If consideration is not there, then schedule 1 will be there. If business is not there, then import of services is the exception. And then we had done RWA to members. Now, once a supply is a supply, then schedule 2 comes into picture, which tells you that whether for particular certain transactions where there were issues pre GST era, that whether it is a supply of goods or supply of services in GST, Schedule 2 has made it clear whether it is a supply of goods or supply of services. ज़्यादातर उसी type की transactions हैं जहाँ there can be some doubt in the taxpayer's mind that whether it is a supply of goods or supply of services. So this is how schedule looks like. So different type of transactions are there. Transfer of title in goods. Title in goods is transferred, but property shall pass at a later date. Transfer of right or undivided share in goods without transfer of title in them, lease, tenancy, and easement or license to occupy land. So different transactions are there. A list of transactions is given, and it is also provided whether these are supply of goods or supply of services. And here, these are the activities which are services. So these are some of the activities which have been provided explicitly that these are the supply of services. So all these transactions, renting of immovable property, construction, then temporary transfer of IPR, software services, and agreeing to obligation to refrain from an act, right to use goods, and composite supply of works contract and supply of goods being food or other article, they are considered as services. This is an overview of Schedule 2. And Schedule 2 provides that, so let me cover just three transactions. First three transactions of Schedule 2, Schedule 2, they're very simple. Then we'll start with Schedule 2 tomorrow. Please have a reading of Schedule 2 before coming to the class. You will find it easy. Schedule 2, Para 1 has three clauses. Para 1, Clause A, Clause B, Clause C. First clause says, if you are transferring the ownership of goods, transferring the title of the goods, अगर आपने goods की ownership transfer करी है, तो वो ट्रांजेक्शन सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स होगी. दैट मीन्स यू हैव सोल्ड अ कार. सिंपल सेल ट्रांजेक्शन है, वो आपकी सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स होगी. सेल ट्रांजेक्शन, सेल ऑफ गुड्स. सो इफ यू हैव सोल्ड गुड्स, you have transferred the ownership of that car to the buyer, then it is supply of goods. Hope that is clear. सिंपल ट्रांजेक्शन है सब, क्योंकि सेल का मतलब ही ट्रांसफर ऑफ टाइटल होता है, तो इसका मतलब अगर आपने ओनरशिप कार की ट्रांसफर कर दी है तो वो सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स हो जाएगा. Any transfer of title in the goods is supply of goods. Second, any transfer of right in goods. Now here we are not transferring the ownership. हमने सिर्फ goods का right transfer कर दिया. मतलब आपके पास ये goods रहेंगे, possession आपके पास रहेगा, goods will be there with you. You can use it in whatever manner you want to do. Whatever you want to do with those goods, you can do that. But we are only transferring the right in goods to you or of undivided share in goods. Undivided share means जहाँ पे joint ownership होती है goods की. So suppose machinery is there and A and B both jointly own it. तो वहां पर वो मशीन जो आपकी joint ownership थी उसकी वो you have even given it to someone else, some third person, or maybe A and B jointly owns machine. A has surrendered his share to B, but they have joint ownership. Undivided share है. ऐसा ये नहीं है कि A use कर लेगा निकाल के B अलग से use कर लेगा. They cannot use it separately, but they have a share in that particular good, in those goods. That share they have transferred, they or goods they have transferred for use. Let us take an example. You have rented your car for 2 days. Car is to be returned after 2 days. So we have not transferred the ownership. Ownership हमने transfer नहीं की. हमने बोला आप 2 दिन के लिए कार ले जाओ, use करके वापस कर देना. So transfer of right in goods or of undivided share in goods without transfer of title. Title is not being transferred. Then in that case that will be transfer of supply of services, क्योंकि वहां goods actually में आपके goods की ownership transfer नहीं हो रही है. So if ownership of goods is being transferred, then it is considered as goods. Where ownership is not being transferred, then it is not transfer of ownership is not being transferred, then it is not supply of goods. Exactly, Shamli, it is right in goods. Is you can give example of leasing. You have leased your car, you have leased goods. Only thing is you have to take lease. You have leased your machinery to a person. So that is basic. So it is generally transfer of title in goods or that means you are giving the goods for a short for a limited period and then goods will come back to you. That is why ownership has not been transferred. Third is any transfer of title in goods under an arrangement which stipulates that property in goods shall pass at a future date. upon payment of full consideration as agreed. अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि गुड्स का पोजेशन is being transferred immediately, but their property or their title will transfer at a future date when the entire consideration is paid. Now let us take the example. You will understand this clause. You have given a car to a person on the basis of installments or EMIs. 20 installments are there and you have to make the payment. So ownership is not yet transferred. आपके goods नहीं हुए हैं, आपको goods मिल गए, आप उन्हें use कर रहे हो. You have got the possession of the goods. But when will ownership be transferred? When the entire, all the 20 installments have been transferred. आपका contract क्या है कि ownership तभी transfer होगी जब आपने सारी installments pay कर दी हैं. This type of contract is also supply of goods. This falls in para 1C. Okay. Rest of the clauses we'll do in the next class. Let us see if you have any doubts. Financing lease, yes, that can also be covered because only thing is you have to, it should be a lease of goods. Kuldeep. Nitin, timing for tomorrow class, yes. So timing for tomorrow's class will be 10:30. I'm putting it in the chat box, main chat box. Time will be 10:30 a.m. and we will put it in the group also. So WhatsApp group also we'll put the timing. And most probably we'll try to have a GST quiz also at the end of the session. Could you please give yes, 2B for transfer of undivided shares. Okay. So for transfer of right in undivided share of goods. Undivided share of goods means suppose a machinery is there. This machinery is jointly owned by Mr. A and Mr. B. Okay. 50-50% share is there, but it cannot be divided. That means this machinery cannot be divided into two parts and they cannot use it on their separately. So that can be used jointly. Now, if these two persons, now suppose A says that yes, I'm giving it to B. Now B can use it. This undivided share, which my portion or my share in the machinery, I am giving that right, or I am transferring that right, my undivided share in this particular machinery to B. Then that is a supply of service. ओके अदर वे राउंड ऑल्सो इट विल बी अ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस. ए ने बोला बी को मैंने दे दिया राइट कि ठीक है आप इसको यूज कर लो मशीन को. मेरा जो शेयर है वो मैंने आपको उसमें जो मेरा पोर्शन भी था माय राइट माय शेयर वाज आल्सो देयर इन दोस गुड्स एंड आई हैव अलाउड यू टू यूज दोस गुड्स. That is also covered in schedule 2 para 1B. So I hope that clears your doubt, Arun Sagar. Okay, Shamli, thank you. You enjoyed the session. With this, we come to an end of the session. And because I also know it's already 9:03 and you would have also been tired. You all would have been very, very tired today. Lot many heavy concepts we have discussed. Just a quick feedback from all of you. How did you find the session? I know today we could not conduct GST quiz, but we had to cover a lot of the portion. So I tried to put as many pictures and as many examples, and some of the examples I could not take due to shortage of time, but I will be uploading them, and if time permits, I will take them in the next classes. Okay. Mohan Raj, all these provisions confuse you with Indian Contractor and Sales of Goods Act. So somehow, sometimes we have to unlearn to learn. In order to learn something new, we have to unlearn the earlier things. But here you can correlate with the Contract Act, you can correlate with Sales of Goods Act. They all are related. So GST Act is not in isolation. GST Act works with Sales of Goods Act. It borrows its definition from Sales of Goods Act, Contract Act also. So ऐसा नहीं है आप Mohan Raj, you can be assured that don't get confused. Try to correlate them. Okay. Okay. So Anil, we have advanced accounts class till 10. You have a class till 10 o'clock. So try to actually, Anil, I cannot keep a time at after 10. Oh, sorry, in the afternoon, I cannot keep a time. Let me think of this. Before winding up the class, I will tell you the time. Kuldeep is saying, ma'am, it was a wonderful session and also thanks, viewers. Thank you, Kuldeep. Okay, Gulti, I'm considering your time. Okay. And Sadia, thank you, Sadia. Is there an extra session tomorrow for regular two sessions? Extra sessions apart from regular two. Actually, Saipa, this is a separate session, special session for GST only for completing the supply chapter. Harsh is saying, thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. How to revise and recall everything. So for revising, Harsh, you can refer the Saransh booklet, plus you can refer the PPTs which I am giving to you, along with the content which you text, you have to add to your Saransh booklet or PPT. So make a complete revisionary material. Okay, advanced. So Kabijit is saying advanced accounts class typically ends at 9:30. So at 10:30, I hope you all will be fresh enough to join the class. Mohan Raj is saying hoping for joyful and useful session for charge of GST like your session, ma'am. Definitely, Mohan Raj. I can assure you it will be as interesting as our class. Okay, Kuldeep, I will upload the PPT. Kabijit is saying it was an insightful session, ma'am. Thank you. Good night, Kuldeep. Okay, Saipai is saying thank you, ma'am. Understood the concepts clearly. I hope you understood the concepts. I have tried to make the class as interesting, but yes, today I had to cover lot many concepts, so I have been a bit fast. In case any of you found any issue, you can let me know. Harsh is saying 10:30 will be okay. Mohan Raj is saying I read full supply part in Saransh before this. Very good, Mohan Raj. That is, you would have found it useful also, I think, Mohan. So you can share that. And Hina is saying, ma'am, your teaching skills are just amazing, but just worried for the rest. No, no, Hina, don't get worried. We will be providing you with the equally good faculty due to some other, work because I am a faculty at Board of Studies, so I have to look after so many things. So this is one of the parts, and the study material and all the publications also we have to see. This is done by our team only. Aishwarya is saying, thank you, ma'am, for concerning about subject as well as our doubts. Definitely, your doubts are very important. That is why it take me time to clear them. Mustafa is saying, thank you, ma'am. Very good night, and I will not be tired. I understand. And okay, you understood the distinct person and other business supply. Good, good, Mustafa. Good to know that you don't get tired in the class because this is the kind of energy and rigor I require for my class. And because I want to deal with everything in depth. That is why it takes time. Thank you, Geeta. Thank you, Nosheen. Thank you. You're saying I never get bored in this class just because of you. I enjoyed and learned a lot. Thank you, Nosheen. That's what I want to know. That whether you found this class useful, you found this class interesting, because today I felt that I could not make it very interactive because that was taking too much time. But anyhow, I will try to make it tomorrow. Saransh is a summary of my notes. So because same team is preparing both the things, so same thoughts are being floated at both the places. That could be the reason. Prerna is saying each concept are clear. Good to know. In fact, I want to know from all of you that you have understood what we have done in today's class and you all have understood the concept. Actually, your feedback is a kind of a, energy to me. It's an energy booster for me. If you say that you have understood the concept and you have enjoyed the class, it further energizes me to make such kind of PPTs and to make this class as interesting as possible. Amit was saying it's a kind of hire purchase. Yes, Amit, hire installment or hire purchase will be an example of 1C. What type of questions come in exam, Santosh? That we will try to cover tomorrow if possible. Otherwise, within the session, what type of questions, how to answer the questions, we'll keep coming in other sessions also. Don't worry, we are here only. Even if the classes will be taken by other faculty, we'll be there at the end of the session to take your doubts, take your queries. So don't worry, we are not going anywhere. So आप मुझसे वो doubts बाद में भी पूछ सकते हो, जो भी इस तरह के आपके कोई भी doubts हैं किसी भी chapter से related, that is not an issue. So May 26 की books के लिए I will definitely get some insight tomorrow. Taxation DT lecture will be conducted. DT is a separate department, Mustafa. So direct tax and audit, somebody asked me in the last class, they will be conducted by different faculty. But for that indirect taxes, we will be there. So I think we can end the session now. Thank you, Mohan Raj. But please request to all of you to please share the feedback of this class in the BOS Knowledge Portal. If you actually enjoyed the session, if you are actually finding these classes useful, once again, it's my humble request to all of you. If you are finding these classes useful, please fill the feedback also. So you give the feedback in chat box, but what is actually recorded is the feedback in the BOS Knowledge Portal. So thank you, Mohan Raj. So your feedback in the BOS Knowledge Portal is what will be counted and what can be taken for the further consideration. So Harsh, in that case, you have to fill the feedback form. So please go for the feedback today only. Fill the feedback for this particular session of today. It will be there in the feedback BOS Knowledge Portal. So Anil, you have to fill the feedback form for that. Okay. So if you want, okay. No, I understand your challenge also. But once you go through the class, I think that challenge will be eased. Definitely. So let me see now. I also want to see how many of you fill the feedback form today, because to know that when you are saying you're actually enjoying the session, you are enjoying it or not. So Kuldeep is really thankful to BOS. Thank you, Kuldeep. Muzahid is saying, thank you, ma'am. Nice session. And then because your feedback here should be reflected in the feedback form also. Thank you, Prajapati. So with this, we come to an end of this session. Thank you so much. Thank you, students, for your patient listening. Tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. 10:30 only, na, because now somebody told me 9:30 accounts class is wind up. So at 10:30 we'll be meeting. We'll put a announcement in intermediate with WhatsApp group also. At 10:30 we will be having a GST session where we will be continuing with the supply concepts where we have left today. We'll cover them tomorrow. Please there be with us tomorrow. Thank you, Deepika. So good night.